There's nothing you can tell me about Russ that you read online that will make me doubt him because, because of what I know about that kind of person. So, I mean, I just want this experience to be that thing, like for us to be bulletproof. So when people find out whatever they found out online and tell you this and that, you have answer. You can say like, this is what it is. So take out all your questions, whatever you want to ask him. Let's learn as much as we learn. Empty your cup 100%. Forget everything you know. Stop pretending in front of him that you know. Let your question be to learn, not to show him that you have the knowledge. Does that make sense? The question should be just to learn, not to show him that you have it. There is no one in this room that knows better than him. None of you. Trust me. So making, your cup empty and just learn from him makes a lot of sense. This man doesn't need to do this. You guys know that? He doesn't need to do this, right? 6 days, almost, it's going to be 9 days, no sleep. And we spend so much time working with him. And we all go back to our room and sleep. And he goes to his room and he doesn't sleep. Because he still has to carry on working. If we finish at 12 or 1, we go to room and sleep. Like the past 3 days, I go to my room and I sleep. But he doesn't sleep when he goes to his room. He's still working until 4, 5 a.m. You ask yourself, like, why? Just want to help a lot of people. So let's use the opportunity that he's here today and then, let it be a breakthrough for your business by getting everything that you want to get from him. So I think he's coming now. And you guys know what to do, the kind of appreciation and gratitude that we need to show him as he arrives and give him that love that he deserves to energize him because he's been like really, really tired. All right, okay. So let's rise up.
Hello?
Oh, yeah. Turn it down.
Hello?
Down. Down, 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 down.
Yeah.
Hello, hello?
Down.
Hello?
Is that better?
Yeah.
Much better? Okay, good. All right. See if I can get this one here correctly. All right. So, everybody here's a member today, right? Excellent. So glad that you guys could come today. All right, so most of you know I travel around and do this a lot, right? When I say a lot, I mean I'm homeless. Some of the guys even started kind of making fun of me. They're like, yeah, you got builder, and pro builder, master builder, monster builder, and then homeless. And so I've just kept doing this over and over and over and over and over again. And I've really kind of done this more like a one day at a time kind of thing. Like, didn't really plan this whole thing out. I was like, all right, these guys are doing good. I'll go over here. Okay, these guys, and just kept going. And next thing you know, it's been 3 years later. Like, I never thought it would be like this. It's just, like I said, one day at a time. So, the past, I don't know, few months, 4 or 5 months, I think I was here about 6 months ago, and I've done this a lot of times since then. I get asked a lot of the same questions over and over and over again. So I'm going to try to just cover most of the questions I get asked all the time, and then we'll take more questions if you guys want me to cover even more stuff. So we're going to go through a lot today. So one question I get asked all the time, because now we're doing GPU mining, is what's the best altcoin? Is it better to mine? Is it better to hold? Like, there's a lot of different things about all the different altcoins that people want to know about. For a long time, it was really Bitcoin, 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 and you had all these other little altcoins, but nothing really was happening. And over the past like 6 months, a lot of these other altcoins have just exploded. And so there's a lot of money to be made, a lot of money to be made. And the thing about being a part of Bitclub, and I hope most of you are like myself and a lot of other people that are in Bitclub, is that once you're here and you learn about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, you want to learn more and more and more and more and more about cryptocurrencies. And are you turning that up? Do not turn me up. Turn it down. It hurts.
I'm controlling at the back.
You can't hear me back there?
We can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. So, there are cryptocurrencies right now that over the next 1 or 2 years, you can make 100 times your money on. Like if you bought $1,000 worth, a year or 2 years from now, they'd be worth $100,000. I just don't know which ones they are. I don't. I really don't. But I know they're there. That's the thing. And the crazy days are not over. So, and let me give you what I'm talking about. Like, my business partner, I've told a couple of you guys already heard about this. My business partner, we started a Poloniex trading account about 3 years ago. Sorry, 2 years ago. He put $30,000 into that account. Now, we did not do a bunch of trading. That did not happen. But when Ripple started, he bought like 10 Bitcoin worth of Ripple, and Digibyte started, he bought 5 Bitcoin worth of Digibyte, and bought like 8 Bitcoin worth of Factum, and 12 Bitcoin worth of Ethereum when it first started, and then just let it sit. Hasn't touched it. Really, no trades in over a year at all, 0. That 30,000 is now worth over 12 million. There is still that type of potential for things that are starting now. And when we started, and the way the GPU mining started, just so you guys know, I was talking to one of the monster builders, Martin, who's a friend of mine, and Martin said, hey, have you looked into mining Ethereum? I was like, I don't think you can mine Ethereum, I think it's proof of stake. He's like, no, I think you can mine it. It's like, I don't know, I'll look into it. And so, I was talking to my business partner later, I was like, hey, I was talking to one of our guys, he said he thinks we might be able to mine Ethereum. Do you know about that? He's like, I got no idea. I'm like, well, find out for me. He's like, I'll ask some people. So the next day I was talking to him, and I was like, hey, did you find out about the Ethereum mining? He goes, yeah, I bought $400,000 worth of Ethereum mining equipment. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, it's 6 times more profitable than mining Bitcoin. I was like, why didn't you buy more? And he's like, there wasn't any more. It's hard to find this stuff. So then he found some more, found some more, found some more. And then I was bragging to a couple of the guys that are my friends in Bitclub Network that we got all this mining equipment, how much money we were going to make. And they were like, that's not fair. You got to let us in on it. So I was like, man, you know, you guys have been buying houses and cars. I didn't do that. I bought some GPU mining equipment. I don't know if I really need to share this with you. Like, come on, man, let us in, let us in. So we sold a few thousand shares of that, and at the time, like we saw it because like Ethereum had shot up to $20. Like it was at like $2 and shot up to $20. And that's when we thought about starting to mine Ethereum. So we bought the GPUs, started mining Ethereum, then Ethereum forked. They had a hard fork and dropped down to $6. And everybody was looking at how much money they were making, and they were like, you lied to us, you robbed us, I'm like, it was good a minute ago. I was like, look, relax. You don't own a bunch of Ethereum. We want the price low. We're mining it. Be patient. It'll come back. Whatever, Russ, whatever. So, while the price was low and we were mining it, a $1,000 mining pool made over the past 1 year 34 Ethereums. Then all of a sudden, the price of Ethereum goes, and everybody's like, Russ, we love you. It's funny how people love me and hate me, love me and hate me, love me and hate me. And so then we found out that the GPUs could also be used for the Ethereum Classic and for Zcash. The Zcash, that was a big mistake. Some of you remember, some of you don't remember. I was like, Zcash is going to start. This has huge potential. There's so much hype on Zcash. But with Zcash, it started with 0 Zcash, and then it was a little bit, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more every day. So we basically moved all of our equipment from Ethereum over to Zcash. And I don't know how this got past me, but there was no Zcash to mine the first day. Or the second, or the third, or the fourth. It was really, after 30 days, there was really a lot of Zcash to mine. So we lost a little bit of money there for that month. That was a bad month. But since then, Zcash actually went down, and now it's kind of bounced back and recovered. And I still think Zcash has huge potential. Dash is another coin that we've been mining with the GPUs, but Dash just had an ASIC come out. So you'll hear ASICs when it comes to Bitcoin mining, but understand that ASICs can be for any kind of anything. It's not just for mining. It could be for just whatever the case is, for artificial intelligence, for anything. So ASIC stands for Application Specific Integrated Circuit. When you have an ASIC, it's only for that one thing, nothing else. So our Bitcoin mining ASICs, you cannot check a website, you can't check email, you can do nothing except mine Bitcoin with it, nothing else. The GPUs, those can be for artificial intelligence. Yeah, man?
There's an emergency. Those who are parked at bathroom bazaar, right, needs to go remove their cars as I speak. They are closing there, we may experience a little of other issues there. So please, if you're parked at bathroom bazaar, quickly rush in and out, or out and in. Move your cars there quickly and, you know, come back.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Alright, so GPUs can be used for many things. So we can mine Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, and these different coins. And you can turn the volume down. And so you can also use it for artificial intelligence. You can use it for medical research. Just GPUs, there's a lot of different things. And they're for high-end gaming computers because they're graphics cards. And so Dash just came out with an ASIC. So now it's kind of pointless. We can't mine Dash with it anymore because they have an ASICs card. And let me put the ASICs in perspective. You used to be able to mine Bitcoin with GPUs until they developed an ASIC. So with the Bitcoin mining equipment, we have thousands and thousands of these mining machines. We have about $50 to $60 million worth of the GPUs, and that is huge warehouses of computer equipment. And that total huge warehouses is 2.5 terahash. One ASIC S9 Antminer is 11.5 terahash. So when Dash just developed an ASIC, it's like, okay, this is the GPU, ASIC is through the roof. There's just no comparison. So Dash is coming off. You won't have the option because you can't get anything mining with a GPU anymore. But as other things happen, we will add other cryptocurrencies that are profitable to mine with the GPU power. Does that make sense? Now, again, I don't know what is going to be the most profitable with this. So all mining is a long-term investment and a hedge. What I mean by a hedge is if Ethereum's at 300 right now, but it comes back down to 200 for the next year and a half or 2 years, which could happen. I don't think it will, but it could. You'll be getting Ethereum every day and you'll get way more and you'll have more money and more Ethereum than if you just bought Ethereum today and just held it. Does that make sense? I don't know which is going to happen, so I mine it and I hold it. And I do that with all of them. So when people go, well, Russ, what's the one? I don't know the one. I do not know. So what I've done is I've taken this seriously to where as I'm making money, Bitcoin, some Bitcoin I hold, some I reinvest back into Bitcoin mining. Some I buy Ethereum, some I put into Ethereum mining. Some I buy Monero, I put into Monero mining. I do both, and I'm just diversified, and my diversification just keeps growing, growing, growing. I've made so much fun. Some people could go, well, you should just buy. Okay, then why are all these super rich guys getting into mining? That's my question. And if you look at the mining, again, I did that for myself and made crazy money. Our members put $1,000 in, they've already made $10,000 back in 1 year, and this is, for the GPUs, that's 2,000 day contract, 2,000 days, that's 5.5 years. They've made 10 grand in 1 year, and it's not stopping. So this is just ridiculous profitable every way we look, and again, I don't know what is the best, so I do it all. So that's what I recommend. And if we look at what's the best cryptocurrency, we literally could say, okay, we got Bitcoin, we got Monero, we got Ethereum, we got Ethereum Classic, whatever, whatever, whatever. I don't know what's going to be the best one. All I know is against the dollar or against the rand, like the dollars, I think it's going to be like that. All of these are going to do better than the dollar will, if that makes sense. So again, I don't know which is the best one, so I just put a little bit in everything, and we should be okay. If it takes, I'm going to need a couch to sleep on. I'm not kidding. All right. Any questions about the GPUs? Oh, by the way, we're going to be starting a new thing, real quick. Okay, so GPUs are 2,000 days compared to the Bitcoin mining is 1,000 days. The reason the Bitcoin mining is 1,000 days is because the technology changes with Bitcoin mining. Luckily, we're at a spot right now where it's not changing that much for a while. When we started, we were buying S3 amp miners, then S4 amp miners, then S5, then S7, and now we have S9. S9, these chips have gotten so small, to take it down, right now we're at 16 nanometer, to take it down to like a 12 or a 10 nanometer, they're so fragile, people are scared to do chip runs. Because if you do a chip run and it fails, you just lost $5 to $10 million, it's gone. And they're thinking it's 10 times more risky at this level to go below 16 nanometer. It's 10 times more risky to do that. So we could be another 2 years away from the next huge jump. But there are some little jumps that they're always tweaking and working on with this. But when we started, it was, like every 6 months there was a new kind that was coming out. And the jumps as far as the electricity price, they were huge jumps. So GPUs is not like that. With GPUs, a GPU is a GPU basically. And a lot of these other cryptocurrencies like Zcash and Monero and Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, they have teams that monitor all of this. And if all of a sudden, let's say we decided we're going to spend $5 or $10 million and make an ASIC for Ethereum, Vitalik would change the algorithm in a second, and literally we just throw our money away. Because he wants it to be decentralized. Bitcoin, with the mining, because of these ASICs, there's only a few companies that control all of the chips. And so with GPUs, it spreads it out where it really is kind of a decentralized thing, except for these communities are so tight-knit where, like the fork, you guys understand Ethereum forked, right? So a lot of people said, well, Vitalik controls Ethereum and he forked it. That's not true. Basically all of the miners, and this is a long story, but there was a DAO, and the DAO was tied to Ethereum. They got hacked the hacker got $60 million worth of Ethereum. So Vitalik said to the entire community, hey, we can roll this back and fork off and take all of our money back from the hacker and give the money back to everybody if we all choose. Well, if you got robbed and you had a button that you could hit and say, give my stuff back, and it just appeared, would you do it? Well, that's what all us miners said. You have a fix, you'll get us our money back, we'll hit the button. No problem. So Vitalik did not control it. He came up with a solution, and we all said, that's a great solution. That's called consensus. With a bank, if we all made a decision with a bank, if the bank says no, they win. Even though, hey, we're the consensus, the bank makes the decisions. They're centralized. So if all of a sudden we developed an ASIC chip for Ethereum, Vitalik would go to the whole community and go, hey everybody, you want to go with those guys that are now going to control it 100%? Or we can break off and change the algorithm where it's just GPUs again. And everybody would go, yeah, let's do that. Where with Bitcoin, there's no real true governing body over Bitcoin. That's why chip developers can make ASICs, because there's nobody to go, hey, let's change away from this, if that makes sense. Well, the people that started Dash and really are the big contributors to Dash, they're the ones that developed the ASIC, so they don't want to move away from it. They want to do it. And I'm probably giving you guys too much information about all this stuff. Okay. All right, so 2,000 days for GPUs. There's no repurchases on these. The reason there's no repurchases on this, and we try to figure out every way to do repurchases, because everybody in here is basically building a downline. If we build a downline, we want to get paid residual income on our downline. So everybody loves repurchases because you get paid again and again and again and again. The problem with the GPUs is that you could be mining Ethereum today and Monero tomorrow and Ethereum Classic the next day, and it's taking little tiny pieces, and unless we have one token where it all got changed, but the prices of all these coins are always changing with all these little pieces, it literally is just way, way, way too much work. And my programmer's like, I could do it, but it would take our whole team about a month of programming. Like, it's a big, big, big deal. We're like, we can't afford that, so never mind. So there's no repurchasing on the GPUs. As much as we want to do it, there's just no way to do it. So for a long time, since we started, it's always been Bitcoin mining, pool 1, pool 2, pool 3, all the time. Then when we ordered GPUs and we had it available, we sold it until it sold out, and then they were gone, and it was just 100% Bitcoin mining again. So now we've been able to work out with some manufacturers to where we're going to be able to get GPUs all the time now. The only problem is now we're kind of outgrowing the Bitcoin mining side of things. When I say we're outgrowing it, in January we did 12 million in sales in January. February we did 17 million. March we did 30 million, because 10 million of that was the GPUs, so we did really the 20 million and then 10 of GPUs. April we did 20 million. We didn't do any GPUs then. Then May, I guess everybody just woke up, we did 45 million. And then this last month for June, we did 69.5 million. Right, so in the financial world, if you just do $1 billion this month, $1 billion next month, $1 billion a month after that, $1 billion, 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 you're a nobody. Because you're not growing, you're staying the same. People don't look at a successful company as a company doing $1 billion every month. They want to see growth. When you have growth, everybody wants it. And I guess that's what's happening right now. So we're getting to the point where very soon it's going to be hard for us to buy enough Bitcoin mining equipment. So it might end up flipping where it's going to be GPUs all the time and then Bitcoin mining equipment like once a month for whatever we can get our hands on, if that makes sense. It's crazy what's happening. And we're working on other different things that we can also be a part of. A friend of mine about a year ago, and this guy makes about $1 million a month in network marketing. He came to me and joined Bitclub Network. I've known him for about 16, 17 years. And he's like, all right, if I turn the faucet on and I start bringing a bunch of people, what can you handle? It's like, I can probably handle about 40 million a month in sales. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because the market cap for Bitcoin and all the cryptocurrencies is like 20 million. Like there's no room for, like I can't, I'm sorry, 20 billion. It's like 20 billion. I was like, there's no room. Like there's not enough equipment to buy. There's not enough market cap. There's not enough new coins being generated. Since then, the market cap for all the cryptocurrencies is up to over 100 billion. So I can handle more now. I can probably handle 150 million in a month. If the world of cryptocurrency keeps growing fast, then we can keep growing fast. But at our rate of growth, we're outgrowing the speed of the growth of cryptocurrencies, if that makes sense. My business partner's like, how do we slow this down? Who's ever been in a network marketing company where the people were like, can we slow down? Like, I've never heard of that before. Now, Africa does not have to worry about that. You guys are perfect. You guys bring in lots of people with just a good amount of money. You have a lot of people that sign up for just $5.99 or 3 spots for $5.99, founder position, couple founder positions. I have a guy a few weeks ago, in 1 week, he signed up 3 people for $100,000, 1 guy for $300,000, and 1 guy for $500,000. 1 guy in 1 week. I'm like, dude, you gotta stop doing that. I have another group in the Middle East. It's a group of 300 people that want to come in together and put in $5 million each. Each. And I said, no. Go buy a freaking skyscraper. Leave us alone. So I'm trying to fend off all the big money people. The big money people, let them do stuff on their own. You can go buy your $5 million of equipment on your own. You'll make more money on your own than with us. We're building a distribution channel to where we can put more technologies into this. We want people, not money. So that's why I like you guys the best, because we bring tons of people and it's just the right amount of money. It's not this crazy, seriously, like some of these people, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, stop doing that. Look, man, I have not had money. Like, I've made decent money in my life, $100,000 a year, $300,000 a year, good money. I've built a lot of downlines where people join for $100, $200, $500, maybe $1,000. People joining for $1 million? What? Like, I've never, seriously, like, it blows my mind. And I've never imagined saying, no, I don't want your $1 million. But I've literally said that to multiple people. So, you guys are perfect. Keep bringing the masses, because we will put in more technologies to where your income will grow. And I will fend off all the big money people so that all the equipment we're able to buy, we'll be able to handle the masses, not a few guys, if that makes sense. Okay, good. So because, as you guys know, with pool 1, 2, and 3, if you have pool 1 and somebody in your downline buys all 3 pools, you get paid the binary and the matches on that, but on the level up, you get paid this. This goes into your held commissions, right? If you end up buying pool 2 later, anything that's in your held commissions get released to you. Or if this becomes enough to buy you pool 2, it'll buy you pool 2. Same with pool 3. So, because we're not going to have this all the time in the near future, but we will have GPUs, we need to have a founder with just GPUs. So what we're going to do is, if somebody buys 5 GPUs, then they will be a founder, and they will get the founder bonus, and then here, there will be no more held commissions. So if you start with just 1 GPU, that's fine, and then as you're earning money, buy another one. As you're earning money, buy another one. I mean, they're going to make you a ton of money. The only place you don't make money is leaving money in the bank. I was with some really rich guys that are on Bitclub Network, like billionaires that are on Bitclub Network. And it's funny, they're actually building a downline. And I was driving with them, and we were going through some mountains, through Switzerland or Austria. He was like, yeah, like the mountain here, I've been trying to buy a lot of this forest. I'm like, why do you want to buy a forest? And he's like, he goes, I want to be diversified. I see, that doesn't comprehend with me because I'm not a rich guy. Well, I wasn't a rich guy. All right, so I figured it out not long ago, like less than a month ago. I just figured this out when I was talking to some people. So if you have not had money most of your life, and then all of a sudden you got a ton of money, what's the number one thing you want to make sure for the rest of your life? You never go back to no money again, right? So that's why all these guys get gold and real estate and forests. And what's crazy is he's like, I've been trying to buy forests and nobody will sell anything. Because if you just keep the money in the bank, it buys less and less and less over time. Like I said earlier, if you would have bought a 1969 Camaro or a 1969 Mustang in 1969, it would have cost you an amount of money. That same amount of money today does not buy you a Camaro or a Mustang. It buys you the wheels and tires on a Mustang. So it's not that the car is any different, it's that our dollars are worth less. I can remember, I was like, how old was I? I was probably about 13, 14 years old. Didn't know my dad, had a big brother from the Big Brothers Club. And he had a friend that hung out with us sometimes. And one day we were driving somewhere, and I remember him saying this to me. He goes, right now, you can buy a house for about $40,000, but when you're my age, it's probably going to be $1 million. I had no clue what he was talking about back then. Now I get it, because my mom bought the house that I grew up in for $17,500. Then we sold it when I was, well, she had it for like 30 years, and then she sold that house for $175,000. It's the same house. Dollars are worth less. So that's what I finally figured out, is that it's not that everything goes up in price, it's that our currency goes down in value over and over and over again. And that's why people want to be diversified. I just haven't gotten out of the cryptocurrency diversification yet. I'm stuck in that. And I'm glad so far. I mean, if something bad happens, I'm going to be like, but I just think this is like going to the moon. Like, I think we're going to have multiple trillion-dollar market caps on all these different cryptocurrencies. I mean, I remember when Bitcoin was $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion market cap, and there was nothing else, like $100 million market cap. Now there's probably like 10 cryptocurrencies that all have over a $1 billion market cap each. It's gonna be, there's gonna be 10 with a $100 billion market cap. There's gonna be 10 with a $1 trillion market cap. This is gonna keep going up and up and up and up and up. Again, I don't know what's gonna be the best one. I just know they're all gonna be the dollar. As long as that, whatever team doesn't completely crumble. If that makes sense. All right. So, any questions about GPUs? GPU. If you have a GPU, or you end up getting a GPU share, if you want to change it to mine a different currency, all you have to do is go in your back office and click on Ethereum wallet or whichever wallet, and it'll say change your mining preference. Go in there, change it, hit submit, and let's say you own 5 shares, you'll see all 5 checked off on what you're mining. You can pick one, change it, so you literally could be mining 4 different cryptocurrencies if you have 4 different shares. Totally up to you how you do that. I just thought of something else I was going to say, and now I forgot. That had to do with GPUs. I forgot. Oh well. Alright. Any other questions about GPUs?
Question.
Yes.
When you mine GPU,
how does it update on your online office? Does it update like every day?
Yeah.
Does it
Well,
show,
when you say update every day, what do
you
you
know,
mean?
like Bitcoin, every day you see how much you've mined?
Yeah. Like if you're doing Ethereum, it'll show you how much you paid. If you switch to Ethereum Classic, it'll show you how much Ethereum Classic that you got for that day.
Are you able to see it?
I'm pretty sure. Yep.
Okay, we've been trying to check it.
Go
But
check it again. Go check it again. Oh, by the way, if you're a pro builder or higher, this is 1 second. Now, sorry, Apple users, but Android users, if you go to the App Store, there's actually now a Bitclub network app. So there's a lot of them on there. Ours is the one that says Bitclub Network by Bitclub Network, and it has a black background. So you'll see the BC white, and then it's black behind it. So that's on the App Store right now. Eventually we'll have Apple, but through this app, it's the same as your back office. So you can pay it forward for somebody, you can sign up a new person, you can purchase, whatever you want to do on there right now. Apple, if you have something on their app store, they want half. That don't work. So we're going to have to take off anything that has to do with purchasing or signing up off of the app for the Apple people. Sorry. It's not my fault, that's Apple. So that's up and running. Now, if you notice in the back office, it says we have a new back office, but only pro builders and above can log into it. This is tied into that. So very soon it will be for everybody. Right now, we're still working out a couple little bugs, but any of the pro builders and higher already logged into it? You have? Is there more features on this? Way more features. Very soon it'll be for everybody, and there's tons more features on the new back office. But again, there's a few bugs, and if we release it to everybody, then it's going to be a bazillion support tickets. So we just do pro builders and higher, that way they can do the support tickets for this bug, that bug, get all those worked out, hopefully within the next few weeks, and then it'll be open to everybody. But you can download the app right now, just I don't think you can sign into it right now. But that is there, and up and running right now. All right, so that back in there, thank you. All right. What's the other thing I was going to cover? Another question I've gotten from a few people, half of you might already understand this, the other half might not, so let's go through it real quick. I've had people ask me, Russ, if in the year 2140, there's 21 million Bitcoin, and there's no more new Bitcoin, is mining over with? That's a question? So some of you guys don't understand that? All right. So right now, we mine blocks of Bitcoin. In these blocks of Bitcoin, we have new Bitcoin, and we have fees. So over time, start with 50 Bitcoin, then 25, now we're at 12 and a half, and it's going to go to 6 and a quarter. So over time, there's going to be less in the year 2140. So the fees. If you got a half a cent, half a penny, for every Visa and MasterCard transaction over the next 10 minutes that happened in the world, you would be a millionaire. So the fees are, right now they're kind of messed up, but they'll be back to very reasonable here very soon with Bitcoin, where you'll just be paying 2, 3, 4, 5 cents for a transaction. So in this block, we have the new Bitcoin and we have fees in the block. Does that make sense? Over time, it's going to be more and more and more people using Bitcoin, to where eventually we have more people using Bitcoin than we have using Visa and MasterCard. So, but that takes time. That's why the difficulty on Bitcoin mining, that's why it actually goes up. Because it has to stay at 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes to get to there. If the difficulty didn't go up, as the chips get better and more people get involved in Bitcoin mining, it solves the blocks faster and faster and faster. So if the difficulty didn't go up, the blocks would be solved in 1 second, half a second. Like, it'd be so fast, all the Bitcoin would be gone in 2 days. That's why the difficulty goes up. So it gives time for new Bitcoin and fees to reverse sides. Does that make sense? So when there's no more Bitcoin, now again, half a penny for the next 10 minutes, Visa and MasterCard, $1 million. One block of Bitcoin right now, about $40,000. So eventually, it won't be $40,000 in Bitcoin every 10 minutes. It could be $1 million or $2 million or $5 million in Bitcoin every 10 minutes. So Bitcoin mining never actually ends. Just the Bitcoin comes from a different place. So it'll be 21 million, but we'll still have mining, we'll still get block rewards, and we'll actually probably make, well, I don't know if we'll make more money because way more people will be involved. It'll be divided by more people. So does that make sense? Great. What other questions do I get? I don't even know. Yes, you got a question? Go ahead. Yes, absolutely. The fork. Who in here is a computer programmer? No, you're a computer programmer. Okay, great. So if you read online for about 12 hours, you might understand 5% of the fork. For everybody else, you're going to understand nothing. I think it's well established that I hold quite a bit of Bitcoin. I think it's well established that I know a lot of people that have a lot of Bitcoin. None of us are selling our Bitcoin. There's, in my opinion, absolutely zero to worry about. Unless you're a computer programmer, I think it's kind of pointless. So basically what's going on with this, just so you guys understand, like I was just talking about the fees. Like right now with Bitcoin, the fees have been kind of high for the past few months. So there's two different sides of people in the world of Bitcoin. And I'm talking about the programmer side of Bitcoin. You got small block people, and you have big block people. Big block people, now basically what a block of Bitcoin is you have transactions, and then on average every 10 minutes, you'll solve a block and it will grab all the transactions and put those in a block and put it on the blockchain. So we'll grab a block of transactions. Does that make sense? If there's too many transactions, the block's full, and now you have lots of extra transactions that didn't make it into the block. So you have to wait longer for your transaction to go through, or you pay a higher fee to pop you to the top. So the big block people are saying, we don't like that. So basically all the people that are involved in mining are saying, no. We don't want big fees. We want lots of users. Let's do a big block. We don't care how big, unlimited. The small block people are more the programmer side of things. And there's a company called Blockstream. Blockstream raised about $100 million. Blockstream has employed some of the top Bitcoin programmers. And they like small blocks. The reason they like small blocks is because if you only have so many small blocks, then the only way to do a lot of other transactions are what's called side chains. They have patents and they've developed software to put a second blockchain with the normal blockchain. Problem is, they control that. We don't like that. So, these two sides have been like banging heads for like the past 2 years on what to do. And finally, a guy that's very well connected in the world of Bitcoin basically got together with all of the miners and all of the top Bitcoin companies, like all the big Bitcoin companies, and said, here's the solution we propose. We're going to get a whole new team of programmers, and basically 90% of all the hashing power from the miners has said, yes, we're in. All the top Bitcoin companies, said, we're in. Bitclub Network even pays for one of these programmers, and all of these companies have all chipped in money, paid for the programmers. And you'll read about SegWit times 2. It's confusing. Basically, all the top people have said, we're doing this, and then that small group of programmers and Blockstream that wants small blocks and to constrain everything, they're out. So if they want to do that on their own, they can start Bitcoin crap 2.0. So that's the very basics of it, and when all the 90% of the miners switch over and all the top companies switch over, it's no different. Like, it's perfect. So yeah, there's no problem. You guys really have nothing to worry about. Like, there's nothing bad that could really happen. So we're good. And again, probably 70% of all the Bitcoin in the world is represented by this group. None of those people are going to do anything to hurt themselves. Like, I was with a guy that owns 1 million Bitcoin. His name is Satoshi. Yeah, I actually know that guy. I'm not kidding. In fact, I got a picture with him.
That's right.
And a few other people, and about 10% of all the Bitcoin in the world was represented at dinner that night. So, yeah, we're good. Nothing to worry about.
We saw it.
All right. Another, go ahead. Yeah, you're fine. No problem. I got my blockchain wallet right there. I was just showing them, I think I only got like, how many was it? 897 in that wallet? So, all right. No problem. Okay, questions? Questions? Come on, I know you guys got questions. Questions?
Iris.
Yes.
Is your vision still 10,000 millionaires at this rate?
$10,000, I think, is definitely going to be doable in the next few years. And it's kind of blowing my mind what's happening. So, that guy Martin I was telling you about, he actually has a partner, David. And they're both from Austria, but one lives in the Philippines, one lives in Austria. They started with Bitclub Network end of November 2014. And about this time last year, so after they had been in for about a year and a half, they were like, Russ, if everything goes the way it should, by the end of the year, we should be millionaires. Then about November of last year, they were like, all right, man, just passed 1 million. The reason is because they did not sell their Bitcoin. So in 2015, when Bitcoin was like in the low 200s, they both made over 1,000 Bitcoin each and sold none of them. So end of the year, Bitcoin hit $1,000. They were millionaires, right? So that was the end of the year. So that's been like 7 more months, 7 more months, whatever. So Martin and David also bought some of these other cryptocurrencies. Now David, he bought 20,000 Ethereums when Ethereum was $2. When Ethereum hit $16, he sold 15,000 of them. So he made good profit there, but he held on to 5,000 more of them. So 5,000 times $300, that's another 1.5 million. Plus his Bitcoin's now 2,500, plus he has this, plus he has that. So it took him 2 years to become worth $1 million in Bitclub Network. But remember, he's studying Bitcoin every day, and cryptocurrencies every day, and he's getting diversified in different things. So now he's worth 6 or 7 million. Dave, that's David. Martin did a little better. Martin's worth about 10 million. So I don't know how many millionaires there are in Bitclub Network so far because of Bitclub Network and cryptocurrencies. But what I think we're going to see happen is this kind of thing right here. Kind of same thing that happened with them, where it was like, we get a few, and then boom, 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 boom. Right? Like Clubcoin as an example. Clubcoin's just been hanging kind of low, then it jumped up a little bit here recently. What was the market cap on Clubcoin? Like $40-something million? Like 40-something million, 50 million, whatever? That's going to go 100 million, 200 million, 500 million, a billion. That's going to happen. There are members of Bitclub Network that own 1 million Clubcoin that they bought online, off the internet. I personally, in the past 90 days, have bought over 150 Bitcoin worth of Clubcoin off of Bittrex. So if any of you guys were selling Clubcoin online, I was probably buying it. Right now it's at like, I don't know, 40 cents, something like that. A lot of people don't put value to it because we didn't sell it, we gave it away. Oh, it was free, they just gave it to us. It's not really worth anything. It's gonna go to $1 and $2 and $5 and $10 and $20. We're going to have a $1 billion market cap and a $2 billion market cap. That's going to happen. So, like the one guy, we got one guy has like 550 founder positions. He only bought 100, but then he positioned them and all the commissions he got, he bought more, and all the commissions he got, he bought more. He'd bring people over to his house, do the presentation, they go, well, what did you start with? I have 150 founder positions. How many do you want? 5. And so he signed people up, and then all his commissions, he'd buy more and buy more. Now, he only put in about $400,000, but he got about 3 million Clubcoin. So that's already over $1 million. Plus he has 550 founder positions. So just imagine if you have one founder position, how much money you make every day. He makes that every day times 550. Right. Doing nothing. Hands off, residual. So there's going to be a lot of people become millionaires in Bitclub Network, not because they had the biggest downlines, because they were smart about how they did things. There's guys that make a lot of money in Bitclub Network, like they make a lot of Bitcoin, and they spend it and buy stuff. And there's other guys that are like, oh, I'm not selling a Bitcoin. I mean, there's guys that are multi-millionaires in Bitclub Network, not counting me, that don't own cars. And I'm like, buy a car. And they're like, I don't want to sell my Bitcoin. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, you can afford it. I'm like, not yet, not yet. There are some people that are just so, like literally, I got a guy who's a multi-millionaire and rides a motorbike. Rides a motorbike. He can afford any car, he can afford a Ferrari. Literally, he can afford a Ferrari and he rides a motorbike. It's like, I'm not doing it. So, it's not just how much money you can make, it's also about being smart. And that's why I love it how people in Bitclub Network kind of pay attention to what's going on and learn about all these different things, if that makes sense. Okay, perfect. And, all right, more questions. What are some questions, Jack? Yes.
How many members are there now in Bitclub?
How many people are there? I meant to look earlier. Oh, I knew I was forgetting something. All right, I think, I know it's less than 200,000 positions. So let's just say 190,000 positions. But again, some people have 550, 500 positions. In Japan, everybody has 999, like everybody has 9. I don't know if it's a lucky number, but everybody just has 9. So people, I think if I had to guess, I'm going to say about 60,000 people. And I haven't looked at this in weeks. The last time I looked, we had like 3,500 builders, but it's probably about 3,700 now. About 3,700 builders. Pro builders, the last time I looked, it was like 520 or 530. Let's just call it 550. Master builders, last time I looked, I think it was like 220. Let's just say that's like 240 now. And then monster, last time I looked, it was 40. I know of 2 people that made monster. Let's say there was 2 more, so let's say we got 44 monster builders. And then we're starting a new position, a new level. It's called Mega Monster. Because all these guys are complaining. They're like, come on, man, give me something to shoot for. So, a Mega Monster, you're going to have a monster builder in 3 separate legs and do $10 million in volume. So it's not easy to do, it's hard. And I think when we do that here very soon, I think we'll have like 4, maybe 6 people that qualify for that immediately when we start it. And by the way, where's my beautiful Botswana lady? She was just talking to me earlier about how Botswana's going to blow up. I was like, that's great. So we started a little conversation about this, and I want to share this with you guys. There she is. So, I'm going to take all excuses away from every single person in this room right now. I just met a guy in Spain. He also came to Iceland. I don't know his age. He looks young, like 24, 25. He might be 30. Plays in a rock band. He's young. He lives in Greenland. Now, Iceland has some green to it. Greenland is all ice. In Greenland, there's only 57,000 people live in Greenland. There's 57,000 people live in this neighborhood, right? Okay. His entire downline is in Greenland, and that's not like 57,000 people in a city. Greenland, there's different places. There's 57,000 people in the whole country. His entire downline is in Greenland. He joined 1 year ago. He's a master builder. I don't know that I could do that. So, if a kid that plays in a rock band never made very much money in his life, with not even, I can't really call it a real country, it's just a sheet of ice. 57,000 people, go look up the economy in Greenland online. They got a terrible, great money, probably one of the richest people in Greenland. I don't even know. But he's like, Russ, everybody in Greenland knows about Bitclub. Everybody in Greenland knows about Bitcoin. I'm like, what? Like, he's like spreading the word. Like, there's no give up or quit to this kid. So, yeah, that was pretty amazing to me when I saw that. So, none of us have any excuses. We really, really, really don't. And then, of course, you guys met Rashimi before, right? Rashimi's one of my best friends. I love that guy. You guys understand, before Bitclub Network, Rashimi was a captain in the Malaysian military, 15 years. He was 18 to 33. Joined Bitclub Network. Within a couple months, he's like, Russ, I'm quitting. I'm going to do this full time. I trust you. I'm going to do this nonstop. And he couldn't get anybody to duplicate. It was so hard for him to get anybody to duplicate. You know the most money, before Bitclub Network, the most money he ever made in a year was $10,000. $10,000 in a year. And now with Bitclub Network, he won't tell you this, he don't want to brag. Kid makes over $150,000 a month. You know why? Because he took it serious. He's like, you know what, 15-year career military? I'm going for it. And he's not selling his Bitcoin. So that could turn into who knows how many millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars it is. This is special. All right, more questions. Somebody have a question back there.
Yes, sir. There's actually one here. Let's start there.
Hello. Can you please clarify for me, if I want to acquire GPU1, how much will it cost me now and all the process?
So in your back office, or actually when you log in to your back office, you'll see store. Just click on store, and it'll say purchase shares. We'll put purchase full shares, and the GPU is there. Now I think the GPU just came down today. So I think right now it's just pool 1, pool 2, pool 3. While we finish programming the 5 shares being a founder position and have it where it's permanent all the time. So I'm thinking in the next week to 2 weeks, that'll be back up, and then it'll be up all the time. But it'll just be in the same place that you normally buy the shares at, in your back office. So it won't be hard to find. And you can always just ask anybody, they'll walk you through it. But under store, anytime, like anything we sell will be under the store section. Huh? Shop, sorry, shop.
Another one here, Russ.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. First question is, I come from Botswana. You made my leader to stand up. You did not say anything while you made it stand up. Maybe you can
what?
help us. That's one. 2, there are Bitcoin companies that tend to deliver cards all over maybe the world or countries. But we have a problem with delivering Botswana. We want to understand why they can't deliver the cards in Botswana.
Cards?
The MasterCard.
I don't do that.
And then you answer that. My last question is concerning the 34 blockchain Bitcoin wallet card, account. That number, that 34 number. Maybe if you can explain it a little, so that we learn more about that number that protect our account.
Explain the number?
That
You mean the wallet address?
Yes, that wallet account.
Okay.
If you can explain it a little so that you understand more, because
sure,
we have been attacked a lot in Botswana by scammers.
Yes.
And they are on us, and they are stealing our information, they are stealing our emails, they are doing all sorts of things in Botswana.
Yeah.
And maybe that is why these people are afraid of going there. Maybe you can assist a lot of us in Botswana.
Sure.
The other thing, these scammers have, our people are so skeptical. Maybe from here they'll go to Kenya, go to Botswana first, because they don't listen to us, because the other year, last year, they copped out their money to these scammers. And now we have to present again another company on Bitcoin. And they're saying, those are scammers. Thank you.
Which companies are you talking about? Which company?
Crypto Wealth.
Crypto Wealth, yes.
Which other one, Botswana?
All right, so...
And OneCoin.
Okay. OneCoin. Oh, yeah. OneCoin.
Crypto Wealth, seriously.
Let's talk about that for a minute. That's a great point you bring up there. So, let me be crystal clear about this. Every Bitcoin cryptocurrency company in network marketing, besides Bitclub Network, is a scam. 100%. If you're involved with a Bitcoin cryptocurrency MLM, not named Bitclub Network, and you're telling people, give us your money and we're going to give you more money back, it's a Ponzi scheme, it's going to collapse, your people are going to lose their money. Period. You guys look on blockchain and you can see the Bitcoin that we mine, correct? All these other companies that tell you a story that we're trading cryptocurrencies, we're doing this with cryptocurrencies. Have any one of them proven anything? Zero. So, if you're promoting a cryptocurrency MLM, let's be clear. You now know it's a scam, and if you tell somebody it's not, you are a liar. And I tell that to people all the time, and people think, oh, you won't say it to my face. I'm saying it to your face. So, let me be also crystal clear about something else. My net worth is over $50 million. I can't spend the money I have. I can't spend the money I have. Ever. And it's all cryptocurrency. It's all going to double and triple and quadruple. Do we agree on that? I can't spend this money. Why the hell am I standing here? Because I want you to be here with me. There's no other reason. Zero. Zero. I hate it when I hear people go, Russ, I lost all my money in this scam. I hate it. I hate it. You know what I really wish? I wish there were other companies that I had to compete with. I wish there were other companies. Nobody wants to do anything legit. They want to make $1 million in 6 months, so they got their $1 million. I made zero, nothing. I borrowed $30,000 to get Bitclub Network started. I borrowed the money. I made nothing. I put it all back in. All of it, all of it, all of it, all of it. I made nothing for a year and a half. Nothing. Like I said, my guys went from 2 years to get to 1 million, and then 6 months later, they got 7 million, 10 million, right? I wasn't worried about it. I said, you know what, let's just make nothing, little bit, eventually we'll make a lot, and I hope it works, and it did. And nobody else is willing to take the risk of making a little bit nothing to make it work. They all want to just, we'll give you 1% a day, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. That's not real. I feel bad for the OneCoin people, I do. I just sat in a room with 40 top leaders from OneCoin. And so, in the world of Bitcoin, we're the only legit. But all the Bitcoin people, they go, scam, 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 Bitclub, scam, 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 scam. They look at us as the exact same as everybody else. Then, I got all the scams where all the people looking at an opportunity to change their lives are going, scam, 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 Bitclub Network, scam, 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 which is your problem, because they saw all those scams. Now, I love network marketing. I have lots of friends of mine in other network marketing companies. They sell great nutritional drinks, great skin cream, great weight loss, which I need some of. Look, the bad part of having money is you can eat at any restaurant you want. And the food is really good and you can't stop. That is my problem. And so I love network marketing, but I hate the scams. Because everybody's heard somebody say, oh, it's one of those pyramid things. I lost money. I know people that lost money. And they want to group us into that. So after a year or 2 years or 3 years, everybody's always, well, the Ponzi schemes are all looking for their exit strategy. We got hacked. Oh, we had this problem. Oh, we have that problem. With Bitclub Network, we're basically 3 years old. We're just now opening an office. It's not a Bitclub Network office. Nothing like this. This is a programming office. So instead of us having programmers all over the world, we'll have them all in one place. So I know where to put my foot up somebody's butt to get things done faster. And we want to build up to have, 20, 50, 100 programmers so we can build all these next level things. We're getting to the point with renting different facilities. Our electric bill is about $2 million a month right now for electricity. So now we're actually doing due diligence and negotiations on either buying a power plant or building a power plant. And we will all own it. It's not going to be, oh, I have a power plant. It's we have a power plant. And then, yeah, it'll be good. So, all we do is do the next right thing. Do what?
There's the due diligence about buying an old plant. Always going to be new.
Well, no, not exactly. So an old place, so there's no due diligence on buying an old power plant. So there's a couple places where there's distressed power plants where they were built. They thought cities were going to grow in those areas, and they didn't. So they lose money every month. So instead of spending $100 million, we could spend $70 million and get it already built and functioning right now. And then they don't need the power, so we build a giant facility, move all of our equipment there, and now we have all the power we need. So that's what I mean. So it's distressed power plants that are running just fine. It's just there's not enough business for them to make money. They're losing money. So yeah, there's quite a few of those around the world. So we're looking into that or building our own. And those, the problem with the couple that we're looking at like that, are in areas where we're a little nervous about the government. Where the government can come and be like, oh, that's nice, we're going to take that. So that's why we're doing a lot of due diligence on all that. But that's the difference. Like 3 years, I feel like we're just now getting started where all these other deals have already come and gone and come and gone and come and gone. And we're just now starting to ramp up a little bit. So I hope that answers your question a little bit. Oh, and let's talk about Bitcoin security. Because everybody here is going to have Bitcoin, has Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies. Let's talk about security. Can we pull up a website?
Before you go there,
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about the TCC trading company because
okay, hang on. I don't think you guys heard me correct. I don't think you heard me.
I did hear
100%. Anybody TCC? It's a freaking scam. You're scamming people. If you're telling people that they're trading, you're lying to people. If you're like, well, I didn't know. Now you do. Any other ones?
It answers my question.
But it's the same for all of them. But there's no difference.
No, they were claiming that it is the
I know what they claim, and they're liars.
Oh, okay.
Look, you guys hear about the ones here. I hear about the ones everywhere. There's ones in India you haven't heard about. There's ones in Europe you haven't heard about. There's ones in Asia you haven't heard about. And they're all the same. Every single one of them. And when I say they're all the same, they're liars. That's what I mean. They're all liars. And again, hey, if anybody wants to prove me wrong, we can pull up the evidence online right now. Anybody got any evidence? Yes or no? You got evidence? Or you got a question? Yes, sir.
I just would like to know, why does it take so long to register somebody?
What do you mean?
If I register a new, if I register somebody new,
Yep.
it takes 5 days before it actually shows on the back office.
No, that's not correct. So what happened was, about 5 days ago, maybe 6 days ago, we had a little issue. And that issue was, we had way too many people register at one time, and our Block Explorer blew up. And so our guys went to work on it, and it took them about 3-4 days to actually get it fixed. So the fix right now is a temporary solution that they're working on a new solution because the numbers are just going crazy. So we're on a whole new solution. So that was like, in that one little window, you hit that. Normally it's instant. But in that window, what was happening was you'd get confirmations on the blockchain, but our system was showing not enough confirmations. And so I was like, as our main partner, I was like, what is going on? The confirmations are there, but this says there's not enough confirmations. And he's like, I'm working on fixing it. So that was like one little window. If you did it right now, as soon as there's confirmations, it's matching up and going through. So it's working fine right now.
I've got 2 situations.
Okay.
I did one on the 25th.
Right.
Didn't go through. I did one.
Okay, if that's, okay, then if, okay, now the other situation is, if somebody does not pay enough. So, okay, I hear that all the time, but there is,
It's been confirmed by support it was the correct amount received,
okay.
But it's not showing in the PO at all.
Well, if they know about it, then they're going to get it fixed.
Yeah, but
If
it
they,
takes 5-6 days. That's what I'm asking.
that's a rare occasion. In the past 2 days, we did 4 million each day that went through. So if there's a couple that didn't go through, support will figure out what the bug is there and get that fixed. But 4 million both days went through. So I don't know what happened there exactly, but if they're saying, yes, it's correct, our system isn't matching up, then it's just a bug for that one. But I mean, I'm pretty sure there's people that registered the past couple days here and you're in the system, right?
Yes, yesterday.
So it's not everybody. What happened the other day, like 4 or 5 days ago, that was everybody. But this, what you're talking about, that I guess is just a couple. I didn't even know about that. But if support said, yeah, it's wrong, we're on it, then they'll get it fixed.
The other question I've got, if somebody loses their phone with a Google Authenticator,
right,
you get it reset or removed.
Okay,
why does
so
it take so long?
For security, because we have to be very, very, very careful. So if someone all of a sudden sent in, like let's say they got into your email account, and they sent an email from your email that you verified, but your Google Authenticator is what was saving your back office from them logging into your back office. These guys are so careful because we understand hackers like these guys are talking about. There are people in Bitclub network that have 85 Bitcoin in their back office right now. I can't just be like, oh yeah, you say that's you, here you go. Like, we are so careful because this is your money. So that's why it takes long. It'll get taken care of, and here's the good news. You're not going to lose anything, that I can promise you. And you can always, because you guys are here at the office, you can always take an issue like that to Hannah, and Hannah can actually get it through because she's top of the food chain. So she can be like, hey, this is the real guy. I saw him face to face. Turn his Google Authenticator off. It takes me about 1 second to do that. So, but going through support, those guys are like, ask this, ask that, take this much time, take that much time, and it's just for safety. That's the only reason. This is not like a check where it's like, your name's Steve, and they get in, they're like, oh yeah, this is mine, but my name's John. Send me a check that says John. Nobody's going to do that. This is Bitcoin, so just got to be careful.
What will be a reasonable time for that to happen?
I don't know. Usually it's not that long. I mean, most cases, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 days.
3 weeks?
That shouldn't take that long. So I would have to go and look and research and find out why it's taking them so long. And then if we need to come up with a new protocol for that, but like, I go all over the world. Like, I meet with groups like this a few times a week. I have not had this brought up to me as an issue and a problem before. So in all situations, there are some things that will slip through the cracks, but I don't know, like, I haven't heard this as an ongoing thing. Whenever there's an ongoing thing, I hear about it from everywhere. Like the situation the other day where it was taking 4 or 5 days because of the link up, I got 100 text messages. If there was that big of an issue company-wide, I would just get overloaded with it. So I don't know the exact situation, so I can't really say. But don't worry, everything will be fine, I promise. All right, do me a favor, pull up, what's the name of that website? I want to show you guys this real quick. Bitaddress.org. bitaddress.org. Don't search it in the bitaddress, address.org. So let's say you wanted to keep some Bitcoin super safe. You could make what's called a paper wallet. So you can actually download Bitaddress program onto a little zip drive. You could go buy a brand new computer from the store. Do not put it online. Take that little zip drive, put it in, download the bitaddress.org software, and you'll be able to make a paper wallet that's never touched the internet ever. So let me show you what happens here. So do me a favor, just kind of move your finger around the mouse. So just move the mouse around here. Go ahead, just move it around all over the place. Just keep on moving. So if you want to make your own Bitcoin wallet address, you can actually flip a quarter 160 times, 160. And a head would be a 1 and a tails would be a 0. And a binary code, you can make your own address. And that's what this is doing. Okay, stop. So we're at 100%. So boom, we just made a number that's never been seen on planet Earth before. Hey, Zolani. Secret. Zolani. Okay, see where it says generate new address? Right above share? Yeah, click on that. Okay, now, we got a new number. That old number, if you didn't write that down or take a picture of it, it'll never be seen on Earth again. Okay, so, you make this, and you print it out on a piece of paper. Now, remember, it's never been on the internet before, right? So now, you cut it. This side, you can put on business cards, you can put up at your desk, you can put this anywhere you want. This is where you're going to send Bitcoin into this Bitcoin wallet address. That's your wallet address. This is your private key. So, with blockchain.info wallet, your private key is in the background. When you put your password and log in, it's giving you access to that private key. You need that private key to send Bitcoin. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now, blockchain.info's wallet, you have access to that. That is yours. They do not have access to these private keys. If you lose your passwords, there's really nothing they can do for you. You are your own bank. You are in control of this. So you have to be very careful when you are your own bank. There isn't somebody to call that has the combination backup. You are the bank. All right, so this is not on an exchange. This is not online. It's just a number, but it's on the blockchain. So this, what you'd want to do is take this, fold it up, And, well, first start, make a couple copies that never went online. Put one in a safe at home, put one in a safety deposit box, put one in a different safe somewhere. Get yourself like 3 or 4 backups. Now, what I have is I have a little flash drive that is a combination code. If you try to put the wrong combination in 10 times, it destroys everything that's on there. So it has a little cover, take it off, and then I put my code in, flashes green, I plug it in, now I have access. So for my stuff, I take a picture on my phone, I put this on my phone, or I'm sorry, on my flash drive, I delete that picture. I actually got like 4 of these in strategic locations around the world. So now, if you go to blockchain.info, let's say it's been 5 years, 10 years, whatever, and you've put a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of Bitcoin, and you've saved up your Bitcoin, and now you got a bunch of Bitcoin, but the price has gone up, and now you're a multi-millionaire on this. And now you want to go buy a house or whatever, college education for your kid, whatever it is. So now you want to get control and have some of this Bitcoin to sell it. What you'll do is you'll go to, let's say, blockchain.info. You go into your account, into the back office, basically, of your account on blockchain.info, and it will say import. And you click on import. Then it will say import a wallet address or a private key. And you can either copy and paste that. Where'd you go? You got to log in. Are you going to log into that? You got to log into that. Okay, but I mean, most wallets have it. Or they'll say scan it. So you can scan that, and then it will bring up that address, and it will say, do you want to import these Bitcoin to this new wallet address? You click yes, and now the Bitcoin go from this wallet onto your new wallet. But the thing is that when you made this, it never touched the internet. You can't hack a piece of paper. Does that make sense? Yeah. So this is like next level security for Bitcoin that you don't plan on touching for a long time. So that way you can keep depositing all you want, but that is in a very safe, secure place. Does that make sense? Yep. Now, a step down from this would be a hardware wallet. We sell a hardware wallet on Bitclub Network, and then there's also other hardware wallets you can get. Any hardware wallet will do. The one that's special about ours says our name on it, and it works for Clubcoin and Ethereum and Dash and Monero and Ethereum Classic and Zcash. So it's the only wallet that has all of those coins on one wallet. We got that made special for all of our members. I lost a lot of money on that deal. It's okay. Yes? Yeah? Hang on, you bring your microphone, I can't hear you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Look, I want to ask if, are you suggesting that I must trust blockchain by some reservation?
We'll say blockchain is open source code. So if you review the code, you'll see that they have no access to your private keys and they have no access to your password.
All right, that I'm aware of. Thanks very much. But then, you know what the blockchain and example and the other blockchains do? When you say
you say the other blockchain.
Yeah, when you said from blockchain.
Blockchain.info. Okay,
yeah,
that's a company.
Blockchain.info. When you said
it was a different company.
That's right, yeah.
Blockchain.info was one company. Zappo is a different company.
That's right.
Coinbase is a different company.
Yes, sir.
There's lots of different companies.
Quite very much aware of this. But what they do, when you send coin anywhere else,
right,
they change the Bitcoin address.
Okay, so blockchain.info does not do that. Blockchain.info is an open source wallet that gives you control of everything. Coinbase is a bank. Zappo is a bank. You're sending them your Bitcoin. They're holding your Bitcoin. They're holding your private keys. You do not control your Bitcoin. They control your Bitcoin.
Thanks very much.
Blockchain.info, you control your Bitcoin.
Thanks.
There you go.
Another one here, Russ.
Now, I'm not saying those companies are bad. I'm just saying I don't really use them.
Thank you. How are you, Russ?
Very good.
I'm starting from Lesotho. Thank you for coming here.
You're welcome.
One, I have only 2 questions, I think. Is there a possibility that IMF can centralize blockchain?
I'm sorry, I did not understand that.
So,
Question?
sorry?
Say that question again? I didn't understand.
Is there a possibility that IMF can centralize blockchain?
No.
If so, how is that going to affect us?
No, it's not possible.
Okay.
Second question.
Okay, the last one is, from our experience, there is a possibility that there is going to be an economic crash.
Yes.
Especially directly to the banks.
Yes.
So is there a possibility that cryptocurrency can be affected by economic crash?
Yes. Cryptocurrency will be affected massively if there's an economic crash. What will happen is it'll go through the roof. So yes, it will absolutely affect you. And that is why I have all my money in cryptocurrency, not in the bank. Yes.
Hi. Just a quick one. I read up somewhere, and I've also heard of a couple of radio interviews, that there's a whole lot of traditional investors that are actually discouraging investment in Bitcoin and running away from it. Now, what do you think it is that they know that we don't, or what do you think it is that we don't know that they don't?
Well, it's what we know that they don't know. Don't believe everything you read. So, let's say you had a lot of money. And let's say you wanted to buy a commodity. Let's say you want to buy a lot of this commodity. Would you want to spend a lot of money for that commodity or a little bit of money for that commodity? A little bit of money. And if you had a voice that could be heard by a lot of people, and you could say one thing that would affect the price of that commodity so you could buy a lot of it, would that maybe be an option for you? So, the billionaires that I know and talk to are investing heavily in this world. And if you look at the Bitcoin venture capital, it is literally the world's richest, smartest people. Every single bank. Visa, MasterCard, NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, all of them. So if there's a guy that goes, I don't think it's good. Again, I dropped out of the 11th grade when I was 19. I'm a high school dropout. I'm a long-haired electrician. That's my path. That's my history. But I'm not that dumb to see that if something went from 10 cents to $2,500 and the amount of transactions a day keep going up like that, and all the richest, smartest people keep investing their money, I just think it doesn't make sense when one guy says, I think it's bad. So don't believe everything you hear, because it could be that one guy going, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, hurry up, bye, 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 bye. I'm just saying, like, I just look at facts and math, you know, just, this is telling me one thing, and one guy saying something else, just, maybe he's right, I don't know.
Yes, another one here. Yeah.
Yes.
Welcome back in South Africa, Russ.
Thank you.
I've just got a question about the 30-day delay on compounding. Now,
yes.
we all know Einstein is philosophy, 8 wonder of the world, compounding is the world's greatest wonder.
Right.
By doing that, we're losing out on a little bit of compounding during the
Yeah,
money.
so basically what happened was, and I'll go through this, and again, not my fault, your fault. Alright, so, you guys have all seen your full share and then your partial shares, correct?
Yeah.
That's for everybody. So, the way our system is designed is that it basically makes an invoice for every repurchase. Every repurchase makes an invoice. And it's creating so many invoices, it's just overloading the system. And that's why we get breakdowns like the one we just had, just from our system being overloaded. So before, it was 0.0, wait, sorry. It was half of 1% of a pool to make a repurchase. So the compoundings happen based on that. They wanted to make it, the programmers, 5%. And I said, no, that's not going to work. I talked them into doing 2%, and they're working on a solution, working on a solution with this whole new back office platform to where we can go back to half of 1%. But at half of 1% right now, Russ, website's down, Russ, website's down, Russ, website, that's what you're gonna, it just won't work. Like it just keeps crashing. So we're at 2%, they're working on a solution so we can go back, so the compounding will be faster. Look, it's not that I make any less or any more, whichever way it is, it's just the way the system runs, but it will affect people's income long term, not by that much, but it will affect it over time. So we want to get it back to there as soon as we possibly can.
So it'll go back?
Eventually, yes. And again, that's why we're starting an office. It'll be so much easier than having guys placed all over the world working on stuff, because when guys are around the world working, we cannot trust them. And again, because this is Bitcoin, it's not dollars. If somebody tries to screw us over in a traditional network marketing company, they're going to print themselves a check, or they're going to do a wire transfer to themselves. Their name is on that. With Bitcoin, it's just an address. So our systems, the way they're actually built, are like this. They're very compartmentalized. The problem is, we only got one programmer we trust. That's our bottleneck. So everything that gets implemented has to go through this one guy. With an office, we have their social security number or whatever their tax ID number is, their address, their passport, their history, their family information. And while they're there or they're logged into their account, we can track every keystroke, every page they go to. We can see every single thing they did. So if anybody ever does anything, we got them. It's not like this where I can't trust anybody. With an office, we'll be able to trust people. So things are going to start moving a whole lot faster. And we can manage 50 people probably with the same effort that this takes to manage 10 people. So we're going to get stuff done so much faster when this office gets up and rolling. So I hope that makes sense for you. Okay. Yes? You guys are asking some good questions today.
I just want to ask about the link of Lino with the Bitcoin, because I don't know how am I going to get my money. So will you please show me how to link Lino with Bitcoin?
Is it Lino? How do you call it? Luno. So you want to know about how do you sell Bitcoin to get cash?
Yes.
All right, so I'm not an expert on that because that's a South African thing. Here's the thing, okay. Let them go through that at another time, because that's just for a local thing for Luno. Here's what I'll promise you, and I think everybody that has a lot of experience with Bitclub Network and Bitcoin, it's 10 times easier to sell Bitcoin than it is to buy Bitcoin. Like me personally, right now, I have some cash at the hotel. I will buy Bitcoin gladly, no problem. Anybody has Bitcoin they want to sell, I will buy it. And I think what you'll find is there's a number of people in this room that will buy just about any amount that anybody here is willing to sell. The selling is easy. It's the buying that's actually a little bit complicated. So don't worry about the selling part, I promise you. That's going to be the easy part. In fact, my business partner in the US, he finally just sold some. They asked him to sell, these guys asked him to sell them Bitcoin. They said, we'll pay 5% extra. He said, no. 7%, no. 10%, no. We'll pay 15% extra. He's like, fine, bring me the cash. So people are begging to buy Bitcoin. Yeah, don't worry about selling, I promise you. You won't have a problem. And I thought of something else I was going to cover, and now I forgot. Sorry, I'll think of it. Question back there. Yeah. Question back there?
Russ, I just want to ask, if we say Bitclub Network mining is the 6th biggest mining company in the world, what does that really mean? And then the other 5, what are they doing better than us? Are we looking to be number 1, and is that important?
Good question. So, if you go to blockchain.info and then go to the mining pool stats, we'll go look at that for a minute. So if you look at one of the biggest operations, they're called F2 Pool. F2 Pool actually owns 0 mining equipment, none. But they're one of the biggest pools. So setting up a pool is actually very complicated and expensive. Our pool, we have about 15, that's actually about 30 servers. 15 are real servers, 15 are decoys, so a total of 15 servers, or a total of 30 servers. And so F2 Pool has a really strong pool. So in China, different people that own their own equipment, they just put their power to F2 Pool, and F2 Pool takes a little percentage of everything that's mined, and they make money. So you could say F2 Pool is bigger than us, but they don't own anything, so really they're not bigger than us. Ant Pool, here, just put, right in here. So F2 Pool, Ant Pool, they are owned by Bitmain. So Bitmain makes all the S9 ant miners. So if you went to Bitmain and bought whatever, $5, $10, $20 million worth of equipment, and said, I don't know how to run this, can you run it for me? They'll say, sure, no problem. So they'll run it for you, they'll put that power through Ant Pool, and they'll take a percentage of everything you mine because you're using their pool. So Bitmain does run some of their own equipment, but most of it is from what they sold to other people. Now, I don't know exactly which are the ones that own all of their own equipment and which ones are just pools with other people going through. I just know that if you take like an entity and they actually own the equipment, we're probably number 5, number 6, somewhere in there. What are they doing better than us? It's not that they're doing anything better than us. They just have access to the equipment better than we have access to it. You find me more equipment to buy this minute, I'll buy it this minute. We want to buy more. The problem is that Bitmain sells to all of these people, and they can't say no to us all the time and yes to somebody else all the time, and they can't say yes to somebody else all the time and no. So we're going to get a share of all the equipment built, but it has to go around. So these rich guys that are making a ton of money from Bitcoin mining, because it's never been more profitable to mine Bitcoin than right now. This is the most profitable time to mine Bitcoin. And so everybody wants more. Everybody wants more. when Bitcoin was $200, and I'm telling everybody about Bitcoin, they're like, oh, it was at 1,200, now it's at 200. Something's wrong. I'm like, no, there's nothing wrong. This is the time to be involved. We can make a lot of Bitcoin. Come on, come on, come on. Nah, something's wrong. Now it's 2,500. Russ, I want to get in. I'm like, what? Why didn't you listen to me when it was 200? I thought something was wrong. And now that it's, okay, nothing's wrong. So right now is like everybody wants to get involved. So it's just hard. It's not that we're doing something not as good as somebody else. They're just taking all the money they're making and reinvesting. Like, they just keep reinvesting, reinvesting, reinvesting. Everybody in Bitcoin mining believes in the long-term viability of Bitcoin. Everybody involved in Bitcoin mining thinks Bitcoin is going to be 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. Everybody wants to have the most equipment running, because the more equipment you have running, the more money you make. And so that's why we can't jump ahead of anybody, because literally everybody's growing at the same pace. What's crazy? If they would let Bitclub Network buy as fast as we wanted to buy, by the end of next year, we will be #1, no questions asked. Just because of our growth. I mean, it's just, look at our growth. Nobody else, there's no billionaire that can keep up with the money that we can raise as a group. Does that make sense? A billionaire could literally put $1 billion in. But if you take, okay, watch this, watch this. I went from 12 million, 17, 30, 20, 45. So 1, 2, 3, 4 months later, I did almost 4 times more volume, correct? 4x. If we keep this up, you understand 4 months later is September, so that would put me at 180 million. January is the next 4x. That would put us at 720 million in January. Guess what? Your billionaire ran out of money. Right? So that's what I mean. Like, and that's why we're trying to figure out, like, do we need to slow this thing down? Like, we're looking at buying power plants, because this is what's happening right now. So that's why I said earlier, we're probably going to have to stop selling Bitcoin mining equipment and do only GPUs. We're looking for other revenue streams to also add into this, because that cannot be kept up with. I mean, then we're going to be at 1.5 billion. And how do you do 2 billion in a month? What are we going to do? Like, you can't do that. So that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get all the big money people, like, no big money, just regular people. So, because I don't want this to happen. If we let the big money guys come in, that's what happens. If we just get normal people, we can actually limit it. Yeah.
I just wanted to know, looking at the Bitclub mining pool, it's been having jitters for the past couple of months. Is that because of the new equipment upgrade?
Yes and no. So Bitfury, all of our, so if you go to bitclubpool.com, and then click on stats, pool stats. So all of our equipment with Bitmain, and we get compensated for everything. So our contract with Bitmain and with Bitfury is we buy the equipment, but you guarantee this much hash rate all of the time. So when it comes time to pay our $2 million in electric and maintenance fees, we're going to be like, you owe us a little more than $2 million. So it's not good what's going on here. They're working on the fixes, but we get compensated for everything. So we'll actually still keep getting paid, even though it's not showing here, but right now we should have, I believe it's 300 petahash running all the time, and we've only been having like 140, 170. Sometimes you'll see it jump up to almost 300 petahash, and then all of a sudden it gets knocked off again. So they're working on the solutions. Obviously, they're trying to make it work. But you've noticed Bitfury was normally really high on the chart, and they've been really low on the chart, because it's not just our power, it's their power also that's been affected. So, yeah. Good question. I always tell everybody, like my business partner Matt and other guys, I'm like, you guys don't understand. These people watch this stuff. Like, I'm like, fix it. Yeah. So, yes?
Any dates on CoinPay launch?
Realistic, okay, CoinPay. So CoinPay, everybody's excited about it. Nobody wants it to launch more than me. So imagine this building is CoinPay. The structure is done. It works. We can actually go on, do invoices, pay the invoices, have them show us paid, like the whole thing actually works. And my programmers, they say, Russ, it's done. I'm like, okay. I walk into a business, walk me through how I explain to them CoinPay, have them sign up to use it, set the whole thing up, all being very simple, like a fourth grader can understand it, and run through the whole thing. Oh, well, that's not ready yet. Then it's not done. Again, that's why we're going to have an office. I know where to go to put my foot in somebody's butt. So, I believe first of the year, everything's going to be smooth 100%. It actually works, and it's awesome. Like, there's nothing like it. Like, we have something really special with that, but it's not a very smooth, seamless, simple thing to walk into a business and just, like, doesn't work. So realistically, first of the year.
Thank you, Doctor. If I'm correct, it seems like there are also going to be 1 million Bitcoins, blocks of Bitcoins. I'm not sure if I'm correct.
I don't understand that. Say that again?
If I'm correct with the numbers, it seems like there are going to be only 21 million blocks of Bitcoins to be released.
Not blocks. Bitcoin.
Oh, Bitcoin.
21 million Bitcoin.
And then the estimated time is up to 2140.
That, okay, if everything goes at 10 minutes,
That's right.
then it will be 2140 when there'll be no more new Bitcoin.
Then what will happen after that?
I explained it the very first thing.
That is what I want to ask.
Okay, so that's what I was saying. Because of the fees.
Yes.
Remember earlier? We got new Bitcoin and we got fees. There's less and less new Bitcoin over time until there's zero new Bitcoin. But there's more and more people using Bitcoin over time. So even little half a cent, if you have as many as Visa and MasterCard right now, that'd be $1 million every 10 minutes that go into the block of Bitcoin. So even though there'll be no more new Bitcoin, there'll still be fees for the transactions, so there will still be mining forever. Yeah. Yeah,
Thank you,
yes, sir.
My question is, how many HBAC do we have on 500?
Say that again?
How many HBACs do we have on 500?
We don't do it like that. That's the way other pools do it. I think that's a very bad way to do it. So by you just buying, most of the pools, you buy a certain hash rate for a certain period of time, for a certain amount of money, you get that much, and then as the difficulty goes up, you make less and less and less until your time runs out, and then you make no more. If you want to do it again, then you got to invest again, and then the same thing's going to happen. So I didn't think that was the right way to do things here. So the way we decided to do it, when I was talking to everybody, is we would just have everybody be a part owner of the mine.
So if I would have sold you a hash rate 3 years ago, you would have gotten like this much hash rate. Now you get this much hash rate. Just because the hash rate is much bigger. So, I'm sorry, the other way around. You got this much, now you get whatever it is. My point is, if you had joined 3 years ago, your money would have bought S3 Antminers. Now your money buys S9 Antminers. Do you know the difference between a petahash of S3 Antminers and a petahash of S9 Antminers? You don't know the difference, do you? I'll tell you the difference. First of all, you have a mega hash. 1,000 mega hash equals 1 gigahash. 1,000 gigahash makes 1 terahash. Sorry, terahash. You know what a terahash is? A terahash is 1 trillion calculations a second. So if you have 1,000 trillion calculations a second, that's 1 petahash. Does that make sense? An S3 petahash cost you, so for the S3, cost you $56,000 per month for electricity. For the S9, it's $5,500 a month for electricity. Does that make sense? So, if we want to have a long-term company where we can all work together, we had to do it where everybody could participate. And if we did it where you buy in here, then the next guy buys into the next level, the next guy buys on the next level, eventually you're out because your equipment's no good. Then eventually the next guy's out. And eventually the next guy's out. That works okay if you're just selling, but when we're building teams in network marketing, we got to do something that's long term. So I just thought it'd be better if we just all buy into the mine. And we all just have a share of it. You're 500, and this guy's 500. You have so many days, he has so many days. And the only way to make it fair is that if you came in here, you have to take some of your money and put back in to buy the next generation equipment. And that guy has to put back in and buy the next generation equipment. Where with all the other Bitcoin mining pools, you could invest one time and just make what you make, let it run to the ground, and then you're done with it. But we're all networkers. We want residual income. So instead of making people buy on their own, we did it automatically. So that way we could build residual income into this. And it wouldn't work if we did it where we sold you a certain amount for a certain period of time. We would never be able to actually put in that repurchase and make it where just everybody's in it together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, oh. Next question.
Thank you. If I don't want to repurchase after 1,000 days, can I just take my money and go?
Right, so the simple answer is no. But here's the thing, is that by the end of those 1,000 days, number one, you start out with 1,000 days, but then you start making repurchases. So when you make a repurchase, this has its own 1,000 days. And then you make another repurchase that has its own 1,000 days. Another repurchase has its own 1,000 days. And so you end up getting all these repurchases. So eventually you run out of 1,000 days. This still has 7 days left. This still has 18 days left. This still has, and eventually you get down to the bottom where it still has 1,000 days and 992 days. So after these 1,000 days, if you don't want any more money, that's fine. Don't go withdraw it. But we're going to keep paying you. So it doesn't stop after 1,000 days. And by the way, when you're like, after 1,000 days, can I just take my money and go?
take your money every single day. You don't have to wait for 1,000 days. Okay? We literally pay you every single day, and you can withdraw every single day. We get about 1,000 withdrawal requests every single day. Every day. Anybody here not been paid? Anybody? I didn't think so. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Russ, for coming and giving this opportunity to the African child, which was not handled by the government. So big ups to you for that. My question is, since some of us are able to afford buying a pool, what plans do you have for those that cannot afford to buy a pool?
So, all right. And if the guy is here that asked me this the other day, or actually a couple weeks ago, I apologize. All right, so $600 is not a lot of money. Now, I know for a lot of people, it is a lot of money. And I think anybody should be able to come with a 99, even if you got to borrow it from somebody. If you come with a 99, you can actually start sponsoring people really fast. And you got an office to bring people to. And a guy asked me this the other day, and I've just been so busy, I literally took 4 flights in 3 days, 5 flights in 5 days. I've been so busy here recently, like the past month or so. And a guy asked me, he goes, Russ, you said you'd help somebody if they were working, and I will. So the guy said, he might even be here, so I apologize I didn't get this handled, I apologize. I was in a network marketing company many years ago. I had no money when I joined, but it was one of those companies you could join like for free, then start building, but if you didn't have an order in by the last day of the month, you did not get paid. So when I went to this company to check them out and take a look at them, I was very impressed, and they had a newsletter. Now this was before the days of the internet. This was back fax machine days. And so they had a newsletter. So when they would send out the product every month, they would have this like 6-page newsletter they'd put in the box of products. And I said, and they would do writings about people that were having success. And I said, what's the fastest anyone ever made platinum in this company? He said, 90 days. I said, if I do it in my first 30 days, will you do a big write-up about me in the magazine? He goes, yes, I will. I was like, what's the fastest anybody ever made diamond? And he goes, 5 months. I said, if I do that my second month, will you do another write-up about me? And he goes, sure, no problem. So the first month, I make platinum. 2 days before the end of the month, I call my upline, his name's Paul, and I called him and I said, hey man, did you see what I did? He's like, dude, you broke the company record, you're freaking amazing. I said, did you see that I don't have an order? I don't have any money. Is there any way you can cover my auto ship for me? What do you think he said? No problem! I got the company record holder, platinum, in my downline. I'll do anything I can to help you. So I didn't ask like what's going to happen. I just went to work. Somebody goes to work and wants to better themselves. Again, I'm only here for one reason, help people up. Somebody goes to work and takes this serious, I would love to help them out. But as far as having a package, like a real package for $100, that'll never happen. The reason is those are the complainers and I can't have them. 500 is true. I don't need to talk bad about it, but my guy that has 550 founder positions, I literally haven't talked to him in a year and a half. And he keeps buying positions. the guys that put in the huge money, I don't hear nothing from those guys. It's the guys that have a 500 pool and have never sponsored one person that complain the most. And if I let $100 people just come roaming free, I'd have to hire a whole room full of customer service reps to deal with the $100 people that never sponsored one person. I gave you $100, I barely made any money today. Where I met a guy that's worth $150 million. He bought a founder position his first month. After 1 month, he went, whoa, I made 3%. He put in another $50,000. 1 month later, he's like, dude, I made like another 3.5% the second month. So the third month, you know what he did? He put in $200,000 more. And again, I don't know if I told this story. Did I tell the story about Japan, the two guys in Japan? No? That was earlier I told that. Let me tell that story real quick. I was in Japan, and two guys that are in Bitclub Network, one guy had been in for about a year, one guy had been in for 2 years. And these guys really don't do much, but they got a lot of potential. So I was sitting down with them, just being courteous and nice. And the one guy, he's young, been in for a year. He has an electronic cigarette store, a vape store. And he's telling me about how successful the store is doing, and he got a big investor, and now he's going to be able to expand and start more stores. And I think he got like $1 million investment. So then, the other guy, after he was talking about that, the other guy, it's like, Russ, Bitclub Network's just so hard. I'm like, why? It takes so long to break even. Like, how long does it take? And he's like probably a year and a half. Okay. Mr. Vape Store, your guy that's giving you $1 million, he breaks even in a year, right? No. Does it break even in 2 years? No. How soon, if you don't lose his money, is your plan to break him even? 5 years. So he gives you $1 million, and you're hoping to break him even in 5 years. And somebody signs up for $600, and they're crying about not breaking even in a year and a half? Excuse me. I am trying to take people with job, scam, Ponzi scheme, broke mentality and turn them into millionaires and millionaire mentality. So, yes, I want to help people that go to work and take this serious. At the same time, I can't just let anybody come in for $100. It would just create havoc with this whole thing. We would bring in numbers, and the numbers are not good numbers, to be honest with you. Yes?
Good evening, guys. I just want a clarity. I saw something on the office about the mining starting after 30 days now, no longer after 10 days. I just want a clarity on that, just the reasons behind it and everything.
Yeah, no problem. Good question. All right, so it used to be you had to wait 10 days before your 1,000 days started for the Bitcoin mining. And now we're moving to 30 days before your 1,000 days starts. If you go to Bitmain or Bitfury, right now, if you go to Bitmain and you say, I got $5 million, I'd like Bitcoin mining equipment, they're going to tell you it's probably going to take you about 4 months to get it. It's going to take you 6 months. We've been letting people come in and pay them in 10 days. When we got started, we were small. We could buy little amounts and get it in 10 days. Times are different now. They're just completely different. You have to buy huge quantities and you have to wait a minimum of 60 days. We're talking about right now, it's the most profitable time ever to buy Bitcoin mining equipment. People do not want to give it to us. I'm having to choke them. But we're getting it. But 10 days is not realistic.
30 days is not realistic, but I'm doing 30 days anyways. Now, that's our official statement on why we're doing it. The unofficial statement, I'm hoping some people won't join. This is actually a way for us to try to slow it down. I don't think it's going to work, but I'm trying. So, again, I don't know any companies that are trying to slow down. We're actually trying to slow down a little bit. So, realistically, again, if you buy $5 million worth of equipment, you cannot get the equipment in 30 days. So, why would you be able to get it with us faster? But we're doing it in 30 days anyways. So that is a fair thing. At the same time, I am hoping some people that have the MLM mentality, the scam mentality, 30 days, they'll start paying me 1% tomorrow. Okay, go. When you lose your money, I'll see you later. You'll be back. Look, I got guys begging me to help them get involved in Bitclub Network. I'm like, dude, I told you about this 2.5 years ago. I'm busy. Please, please, please. I did a training 6 months ago downstairs. Now look at it. What's going to happen 6 months from now? We're busy. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Russ. I just want to know if I can enroll somebody in America in Bitclub Network. I'm asking this because I tried to enroll someone.
Yes.
And he said, no, we don't use networks in here. So
Correct.
if that's so, why? And if yes, please explain how do I do it?
So, the official answer is no, and I'll explain why. Have you ever heard of a network marketing company called Vima?
Yes.
Heard of Vima? Vima is a 10-year-old company with stacks of science in their products. Products taste good, they are good, I think they got awesome products. Some of my friends were in Vima from the very, very, very beginning, helped Vima start. Some of these guys are making $1 million, $2 million, $3 million a year in Vima. And then one day, arbitrarily, the US government just walks in, says, you're closed down. Puts a sticker on the door, says you're shut down, turn it all off. My friends went from making $2 million a year to making zero. Then Vima had to go to court and fight with the US government about if what they were doing was legal or not. Here's what's messed up about that situation. There is no legal compensation plan in America. There's no, I mean, Amway is the only company in 1971, which is the year I was born. Amway is the only one that said, okay, you have a legal business model. No, they said, Amway, you have a legal business. That's it. There is no other diagram in the US to say, this is legal, this is not legal. That doesn't exist. The government just decides, let's go shut them down. So we only have one priority here, and that's keeping everybody's money safe. That's it. So the US market was like 3% of our sales. But going forward, if we get super big, I think realistically, 95% chance of liability. If anything ever did happen, 95% chance because of the US. I got billionaires, I got guys that make $1 million a month in network marketing that wanted to join Bitclub, and they were like, look, only way we'll join Bitclub Network and to build Bitclub Network is if you shut down the US. I said, seriously? Like, seriously. Done. So no, you can't join in the US. But let's say you like to gamble. And let's say you like to gamble online. I don't recommend it. That's your choice, not mine. I don't like gambling online, but you might like it. And your favorite thing is to play the slot machines online. If you live in the US, that is illegal for you to do. And if you go to a website where you can
gamble online, it's actually going to come up and say, sorry, you live in the US, it's illegal from a free country, illegal for you to do this. So you're not allowed. So they got these things called VPNs, virtual private networks, where you could get one of those set up on your computer, and it would make it look like your computer was in South Africa or Mexico or wherever else in the world. You could then log on to that gambling website and gamble illegally, because the website would think that your computer was in South Africa or Mexico or wherever else. And that website has no way of telling the difference. So, are there people that have joined from the US since we stopped taking people from the US? Yes, but there's no way that Bitclub Network could know, because they're using a VPN, which we can't stop anybody from doing that, even though we tell people don't do it. If that makes sense. Yes?
Thank you. I think one of the most attractive features with Bitclub Network would be the residual income.
Yes.
So now with the GPU mining, let's call it coming mainstream.
Yep.
Now that they're going to be a permanent feature.
Yep.
The question is, will we still then get the residual bonus from the GPU mining?
No, because there's no repurchases on the GPUs. And I shouldn't say no, I should say maybe. Because, okay, people are still going to be able to buy the Bitcoin mining equipment. We just might stop selling it all the time. When we get it, you'll have a chance to buy it. It'll just probably sell out really fast. Now, the Bitcoin mining equipment is an automatic repurchase. GPUs, you have to repurchase on your own. So you will be able to buy more, but it's not forced on you. You'll have to do it yourself. So maybe you'll get some residual. People are buying more of it. But it's not going to be forced, and I wish we could force it. There's just no way to do it. So it's none. Okay. Yeah, and I got one back there.
Russ, let me just first of all say thank you very much for having come here to come and enlighten most of us. We're in the dark and very ignorant about this opportunity. And quite sincerely, we want to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
My question is, now you being the brainchild of this organization.
There's a few of us actually. I'm just the guy standing in front.
Yes, you being the brainchild of this organization that we love so much and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Some of us actually have seen the woods from the trees, because before that we didn't know anything about this Bitcoin stuff. But I'd like to say thank you very much to my leader. You see someone here, it's a junior, who met me about a year ago, and she was really an eye-opener to me. And I never looked back since that time. And I see what you learn more of Bitcoin, so that I can stand the waves. Now, the big question is, as you're the main man behind it, and looking at the succession planning, what measures are there in place to ensure that if anything happens to Russ, God forbid, there will be continuity in terms of whoever will be looking after the company? Because that's, I think, very, very important.
I get asked that from time to time. Okay, go ahead.
That's the first question. Now, the second question is that some of us have got constraints in some of the countries that we come from, particularly with regard to the exchanges.
Right.
And I believe, as the members of this nice investment opportunity, we should take advantage of the exchanges, setting up exchanges. And I'm very much interested in setting up an exchange. It is one of the constraints that we have. So how can you guide in terms of going about it and to ensure that the agrarian rules that we have in some of our countries, we can be able to bypass them, or at least be able to ensure that we don't have those pitfalls? Thank you so much.
Gotcha. Okay, so first was how does somebody, well, second was how does somebody start an exchange, and
two countries. And the other one is what about me? What if something happens to me? So if something happens to me, you guys will be just fine. The mining has very capable people running the mining operation. I am not a programmer. I was very clear. I dropped out of the 11th grade when I was 19. I'm an electrician. Besides that, I'm a network marketer. So the programmers, they run all of that. There's other people besides myself that really run Bitclub Network. So right now, I'm standing here talking. There's a team of guys answering support tickets. I really don't do support tickets. I go and check the withdrawals, and I'll pay the big withdrawals, but all the small withdrawals, those are other guys that do those. So there's nothing that I do, except for talking to you guys, that really runs anything. I'm not the guy you gotta worry about. It's the programmers that you really gotta worry about. Luckily, they don't leave their house very often. So we do have, you know, contingency plans in place, but I'll be real honest with you, I'm not the guy you gotta worry about. If something happened to me, you're fine. It's the other guys, because I can't do what they do. But that's another reason we're working on having an office in place, because it will literally make it where there's no one person that is that important. Because remember earlier I showed you, we got lots of different programmers, but they all have to go through this one guy to get implemented into Bitclub Network. That's the guy that's important. That's not me. When we have an office, that guy won't be that important anymore, because we'll have a whole office. All right, so setting up an exchange. So here's the thing, is that fiat currency ties in with governments and central banks. So if you want to be an exchange, a money transmitter, when I say money transmitter, we're talking about fiat money. So somebody's going to buy Bitcoin from you or sell Bitcoin to you for fiat money. If you're going to take wires and send wires, every country's different, but they all have a stack of regulations to make sure that terrorism is not in place, fraud's not in place, that money laundering's not in place. Like, there's so many regulations. People ask, like, why don't we do that? Because we have members, and so, no thank you. Too much work and headache. That's why there's not more of them. Coinbase has raised, like, I don't know, way over $100 million in funding. And you're talking about some of the elite people from US business, stock markets, and government all running Coinbase. And they're trying to do everything legit. That's why people are like, oh, Coinbase. I'm like, dude, that is a bank. It's literally a bank, because they're touching fiat money. I don't want to touch fiat money. If you want to touch fiat money, whatever country you're in, hire a team of lawyers, because it's going to be a long, drawn-out, expensive process, because you're touching fiat money. And that's why Bitclub Network, like, we were like, what? It makes sense. Let's just don't ever touch fiat money. 100% Bitcoin in and out, no problems. Fiat money, if you've ever had a merchant account, tell me you had a merchant account and you never had a problem. Liar. Merchant accounts are problems. Banks are problems. Fiat money, problem. So you can do it. I wouldn't even know where to begin. Except for to tell you, hire a team of lawyers and figure out what you got to do for that country. So, sorry I didn't give you a better answer. Yeah.
I just want to get back to the GPU mining. So can members then buy partial shares themselves?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think so. I'll find out about that. And I'll find out if that's possible for us to do. Like, we're not, I don't think we're doing that. I'll find out if we can do that, because if people do want to do more, that might be a good idea.
And buy with the currency that they're mining?
Okay, so let me go through that real quick. When you say buy with the currency that they mine. So what we're doing right now with Bitcoin, you can have a username and you can transfer Bitcoin from one username to another username. So like guys that have
15 usernames, they can transfer the Bitcoin all to one username and then just do one withdrawal. So what we're doing is we're setting that up for Ethereum, Monero, Ethereum Classic, Zcash, where you can transfer all to one and just do one withdrawal. Or we're setting up the invoices to where right now you can do invoices with Bitcoin and Clubcoin. The Bitcoin you can do from your back office wallet, or you can do from an external wallet. We're also setting it up for Ethereum to pay from your back office, and for Monero, and I think Ethereum's first, and then we're going to do the other ones. But we have a lot of people that bought GPU shares on different accounts, and they're like, look, man, I have enough in all my accounts to buy another share, but I don't have enough on one to buy another share. Can I combine them to buy the share with Ethereum? So we're setting all that up right now because I know there's a lot of people that want to do that. And I guess I could bring up the partial shares also. Just when we saw the repurchases weren't going to work, I think we just dropped the whole thing, but I'll talk to them about that also. But that is getting set up right now. All right, and then Raymond, who's a leader in Kenya, he helped set up to get this trip for Dubai done. That's going to be the end of October. I think it was like the 13th, no, 15th? 14th or 15th, I think 15th to the 20th. I forget what it was. I forget the dates. Maybe it was the 17th to the 23rd. I don't remember. But it's the end of October is going to be the Dubai trip. I have reserved 500 rooms. The problem is, I know Korea wants 130 rooms, and I know Japan's probably going to want 150 rooms. So that's 280 rooms. I only got 500. Remember, they're 70% of Bitclub network, and that's less than 70% of the rooms. Like I told you earlier, we got it's like 44 monster builders. We have like 250 master builders. Then we have like 550, maybe more, pro builders. So that's like 840, 850 pro builders and above fighting for 500 rooms. So this trip is going to be 5 nights, but you have to be pro builder or higher. So please hurry and become a pro builder. So I don't know how soon we're going to open that up, probably sometime in the next 2 weeks. So if you're not pro builder, I would be hustling to become pro builder in the next 2 weeks. I promise you, every single person in this room has the ability to be a pro builder in the next 2 weeks. I promise you that. If you sign up today, you can be pro builder in the next 2 weeks. I have people that made pro builder their first day. They just got on the phone and just cranked it out. All right, question? Yes?
Russ, I just want to ask about the mining farm. We hear about the mining farm in Iceland.
Yep.
Do we have more mining farms, or is that just one? And if it's the only one, what happens if it catches fire or anything like that? Just explain there, please.
Okay, as far as that place catching fire, it's the #2 rated data center in the world. Less than 5% of the equipment in this place is for Bitcoin mining. 95% is Fortune 100 companies, like BMW's equipment is there, top insurance companies, banks. That's where their stuff is hosted. Everything's insured, so I mean that is the last thing I worry about when I sleep at night. Burn Global, where we just went, and in fact, pull up that website for me. What is it? MyRig, MYRIG.online. So this facility has about 40% of our Bitcoin mining equipment and about 3% of our GPU equipment. Then about 60% of our equipment is with Bitfury. So that's at their facility in Georgia. So two different facilities there. And then there's another facility in Iceland that's separate from Vern that hosts a lot of our power for GPUs. Then we have a facility in Sweden that's literally being built out right now. In that facility, we have $23.5 million worth of equipment getting installed in that facility right now. And that facility is giant. When that is done, we're going to do a whole thing there because it is impressive. I mean, it is giant. So the GPUs, that will be expanding all over the world. We have another facility, two facilities in China that also have GPUs going in them. And then there's another facility that's in Romania that we have a ton going into. So we've already purchased a ton of GPU equipment that we're waiting on getting installed right now. And it's going to be enough equipment that literally will be covered for months. Then we have more that we're going to be ordering after all this is installed. We'll order more, but we'll have enough to where we'll be able to sell probably $65 to $70 million more of GPU mining equipment that we haven't sold yet, that we haven't even tried to sell yet because it's not hooked up yet. So we're good. We're good. Oh yes, here it is. Yeah, so that's the mining facility in Iceland. What you can't tell from these pictures is that the wind is blowing in there. It's like, and it's really. So yeah, so this is the facility. Yeah, that's guys worth about $7 million. 6 million, 7 million, whatever. Yeah, him. You're about 6, 7 million. So yeah, we got lots of pictures, but I mean, you can go through here. There's many different pages of everything, and so we just had over 200 people that showed up there for this. And the way that happened, by the way, you guys noticed we never put an announcement on the website about this, right? You guys didn't even know we did this. What happened was the group from Japan said, Russ, can you set it up with Yoshi for about 20 to 25 of us to go to Iceland to do a tour? And I said, sure, no problem. So we set it up, and I said, Al, I'm going to go too. They're like, perfect. So I told Joe, and Joe was like, hey, I'm going to go. And Joe's like, hey, I'm going to invite a couple people. I was like, no problem. So I told David, and David's like, hey, can I invite a couple people? I said, sure, no problem. I told another monster builder I was going, he goes, hey, can I go? I said, sure, no problem. He goes, can I invite a couple people? I said, sure, no problem. So me telling just a handful of people, and them saying, can I go, can I tell a couple people, literally over 200 people just showed up. So I ordered 4 buses, 4 giant buses, and then I told everybody that I was staying at the Hilton, and I said the buses are going to be there at 9:30, don't be late. Not one person missed the bus. I was very impressed. Every single person was there by 9:30 in a little tiny cold town in Iceland, so it was awesome. And that just happened literally by accident. So don't worry, we'll go back to different places like Sweden and Iceland, places like that. Yes?
Yeah. You said that electricity is an issue because of the cost.
Not because of the cost, really. It's not that it's because of the cost. It's because. Well, go ahead. Finish your question.
Thank you. All right. Electricity is expensive.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course.
We've got a lot of solar here in Africa. Mm-hmm. And we can harvest the power from the sun.
Yep.
And have a plant around Gauteng.
Right.
Pretoria and Bitclub.
Right. So it would cost 10 times more than what we're doing. We've already looked into it. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense.
Why? Because of the
expense. It's too expensive. Way too expensive. It's super massive expensive. That's why.
How much did you do?
We've looked into everything. And the thing that makes sense long-term for us is actually build or buy a giant power plant. When I talk about a giant power plant, I mean could power Johannesburg, like a giant power plant. So we're looking at doing that. Solar, the amount that we would need, we would have to have kilometers and kilometers and kilometers and kilometers and kilometers, and it would take years and years and years to build. It just doesn't make sense. If it did, we would do it. That I promise you. But as far as like the expenses, once all of our GPU mining equipment is up and running, all of our GPUs should be making over $11 million per month. And our electricity expense will be about $700,000. So that's a pretty good return on investment right there. That's the GPUs. The Bitcoin right now, at 200 petahash, not 300 petahash. At 200, let me do the math at 300. So at 200 petahash, it was 1.1. 300 petahash, we're going to be about 1.6. So at 300 petahash, we're at about 1.6 million a month in electricity, but we should be mining about 8.5 million a month. So very profitable. So yeah, we're good. So I mean, it's an expense, but we make a ton of money, so it's all good. Yeah. But again, if something made sense, we will do it. It's just the solar with batteries, because you have to have batteries also, because at nighttime and on very cloudy days, you got no power. So it just doesn't make sense. So thank you for thinking of that. Questions? Come on, man, it's only 6:30. We've got about 4 more hours. Do you know how many times I've sat in a restaurant with like 5, 6, 7 people from 7 or 8 o'clock at night and then gone till 2 or 3 in the morning? Many times. Just pretend it's like 6 or 7 of us. We're just hanging out chatting.
Hi Russ, just for clarity, just in case I didn't hear you well. The 30-day waiting period before one starts mining, is it already in effect?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, is what that said, but last night I was like, hey man, give them an extra day just in case, because we had some problems this week. So extend it 1 day. They're like, all right, no problem. So actually today, if you do it, it's only 10 days. Tomorrow it'll be 30 days, because I actually just told them, hey, extend it 1 day.
Okay.
Because I knew there'd be some people that'd be like, but Russ. So I just, without telling anybody, it actually got extended 1 day.
So you're ready to sign?
Yep. He's come with a microphone.
On the same note, Russ?
Yep.
On the same note of 30 days, there are some people on downliners that signed up already, our members who have not yet bought their shares. And I would like to know, will they fall into the category of 30 days? Or should?
If they buy today, it'll be 10 days. If they buy tomorrow, it'll be 30 days. Now, by the way, let's be really clear. Again, we gotta break the Ponzi scheme mentality.
Yes.
This is a long-term investment. We've been going for 3 years. We're just now getting started in doing these big projects. So if somebody's like, oh, I gotta wait 30 days, cool, trying to slow it down. That's what I'm trying to make happen. But the realistic thing that you should be saying to these people is, you're getting paid for years.
That's great.
2 years from now, when you're still getting paid, 4 years from now, when you're still getting paid, you're going to let 20 days right now affect you? You knew about this months ago when you didn't join. Now all of a sudden 20 days is an issue? Man, straighten these people up. Look, man, you have something they want. They ain't got something you want. think I care about somebody's couple $100? My plane ticket to come here was $5,000 one way. Dollars, not rand. I mean, do you know how much alligator Louis Vuitton shoes cost?
This, I just want to cover this Ponzi scheme mentality.
Yes.
So, please, people in the room, this is not me, okay? I don't look,
my friend. Okay, good.
I don't look on the internet to explore Ponzi schemes, any of that's rubbish.
Right.
I don't look at it. I don't look at it. Okay.
I understand. Right.
There have been some investor time people that obviously we spoke to.
Yep.
And they went on the internet and obviously they saw the stuff that's there. And as far as I understand, every network marketing company in existence has been called a Ponzi or a scam since the beginning of time, including our way.
Well, let's go through that. Whoa, so got me lost again.
But that's
pyramid scheme. Different from Ponzi.
Ponzi scheme. Okay.
So okay. I mean, I can cover the difference. A lot of people don't know the difference between pyramid scheme and Ponzi scheme.
Okay. So that's the one.
I'll go through those.
I wasn't actually going to ask that question. But that's a good one to cover.
Okay.
But these particular individuals saw that there was an article that was attacking you personally.
Okay. So here's the thing.
And I just want to know how must we respond to that?
Here's how you respond to it.
Okay.
Find somebody online that wrote something about me that knows me. Because if you talk to people that know me, they're not going to tell you nothing but good about me. And if you find somebody that knows me and you talk bad about me, they'll probably have something to say to you. I've created a lot of millionaires. I started Bitclub Network and started calling people and said, we're doing Bitcoin, which is not really a real currency, but I think we might have something here. There's no office, no registration, no this, no that, none of that. Just trust me. And now we've done over $300 million in sales, have 60,000 people in over 100 countries because my friends 100% trusted me. So if somebody reads something online that somebody wrote about me and they don't know me, which I promise you, they don't know me, I don't really care what they wrote. And if somebody's going to judge Bitclub Network on that, please don't join. It's that simple. Look, you guys think I'm crazy, but I got two favorite words that I've used since the day we started Bitclub Network. And I've said them 1,000 times to 1,000 people. Don't join. And it's funny that almost every single person I say that to goes, no, I didn't mean it like that. I'm sorry. So, yeah, if somebody's looking up me and they don't join, I feel bad for you. There's people that didn't join 3 years ago, and now they're begging. Begging. So, and tell them I'm sure they're perfect people.
Yeah.
Okay?
So maybe for everybody, clarify Ponzi versus...
Ponzi pyramid. Okay, sure. So, the most famous Ponzi scheme that was all over the news... The what? Change the pen, okay. See, this works better. Alright. So the most famous Ponzi scheme guy that we probably all heard of was Bernie Madoff. So Bernie Madoff had a $60 billion Ponzi scheme that ran for 20 years.
Bernie Madoff was the CEO of NASDAQ. Heard of NASDAQ, right? So then he started an investment firm, a hedge fund. And he had all the people that he knew, and he had a huge reputation, so people started investing money with him. The first year, he only, I think what it was, he only made him about 8%, and he felt like everybody would leave. So he upped it for that first year to 12%. He added an extra 4% for that 1 year. Not 1% a day, 4% for a year. And he figured, you know what? Next year I'm going to have a good year, and I'll make it up. The next year he had another bad year. So he fudged it a little bit again. After that second year, it was basically out of control, and he just faked it all the time. He had a team of people that would go, okay, we made 13% or 14% for the year. Now, go back for the last year and look in the past at what trades we could have made to have made that and show that that's what we did to get them this return. And he had a team literally do that. But what was actually happening was that the people that came in year 2, their money paid year 1. And the next year, that money paid these guys. And the next year, paid these guys. And the next year, and the next, and the next year, and the next year, and the next year. And then you know what happened? He ran out of arms. That's all that happened. He ran out of arms. 4% a year ran him out of arms. That's why people say, Russ, 1% a day. Do you know how fast your arms are going to run out? You can't do that. It's going to collapse. That's a Ponzi scheme. A pyramid scheme is more of an MLM term. So has anybody ever heard of gifting an MLM? Or MMM an MLM? Okay. What is the product in MMM? There is no product. You give some money, and that's going to go as a gift to somebody. Then you tell 2, and they tell 2. I mean, this isn't how MMM works, but this is how gifting works. And basically, you have a 2x3 matrix. So you tell 2, they tell 2, they tell 2. And when you give your money, and when all these people come in, they're all going to pay you. So you're going to get this whole row of money from these people. You get that whole row of money, you're rich. Then you come in again, you tell 2 more. No product. Recruit people and get money only. That's a pyramid scheme. Ponzi scheme, investment, do nothing, get paid money. Now, if there's a real investment, that's an investment. If there's no investment and it's new people paying the old people, that's a Ponzi scheme. So all of these cryptocurrency MLMs, they're all saying, give us money, do nothing. That's what Bitclub Network says, give us money, do nothing. But we actually buy computers and we actually mine Bitcoin. But it's transparent, you can see it, it's not a story. These other guys are like, look man, we're making trades, we can pay you 1% a day. Can you prove that to me? Just gotta trust us. It's our special secret algorithm. You're lying. Period. So, does that make sense on that? So yeah. Next question. And by the way, I don't think you can find anybody that's been at Bitclub Network for, a year and a half or more that's unhappy with Bitclub Network. In the history of Bitclub Network, I think we've had 7 refunds. Like 7 people that asked for a refund. We've actually had a few people that have asked for refunds. We went and looked, and they had gotten out more Bitcoin than they put in. We're like, you got, like, the mining paid you more than you put in. What? You owe us money. So, yeah, actual refunds, been like 7 people. It's like literally nothing. Everybody loves us.
Next question. Yes.
Yes, Russ. My question is regarding Bitcoin mining and GPU mining. How can you assure the people who started in Bitcoin mining, how can you assure them that as the company is moving towards GPU mining, they say they don't invest in GPU mining, they're still in Bitcoin mining?
Yeah.
How can you how can you assure them that they are still catered for by the company in terms of Bitcoin mining?
Okay, our equipment is taken care of. All of our equipment is taken care of. What I'm saying is, we're growing too fast. There's only so much equipment that we can buy. We want to buy as much as we can. We do buy as much as we can, but there's going to come a time in the near future where I could see us having to stop taking orders for Bitcoin mining because we just can't get the equipment. It's not that we don't want it. It's not that we're moving on from Bitcoin mining. It's we can't get enough. We're getting too big. So when we do get more, we'll sell it again. Like when I say we're going to stop, I mean like we'd stop for 3 weeks. And then we get more, it's not like we're done with that. That's not what I'm saying at all. Zero. No. We're in this for the long haul. Yeah, no, we're good. And again, this is more profitable now than ever before. Yeah, we're good. Yes?
Hi, Russ. On the 30-day issue, you're saying today is basically the last day.
Yes.
So what happened is from Sunday, me and my team, we registered people and they paid the $99.
Right.
But they cannot buy.
Okay. Do it anyway.
So we did write to support and they say they're looking into the $89. So is this 30-day thing going to affect them?
Look, they better hurry up.
It's not going to happen today though.
Well, then, if they don't do it today, if they do it tomorrow, it's 30 days.
So now,
if it does it tomorrow, it's 30 days.
but it's not our fault.
Do what now?
It's support's fault. Yeah.
Support can't do nothing. It's a little support guy. What's he gonna do?
How do you help us?
Buy it today. Okay, in the news, did it say July 1st? Yes. It said July 1st. Yes, it did. So I extended it for July 1st. But I said, don't tell anybody. Because I knew there'd be some accidents where it's like, we thought we had it in on time, but we were 20 minutes late. So I extended it 1 day just to make sure that everybody could get it in, even though we told everybody July 1st. So tell them, hurry up, you got a few more hours.
Okay, what happened is, we registered them since Sunday, last week Sunday.
Right.
They paid the $99.
Right.
But the status is inactive, meaning they cannot purchase phones due to that.
Their status is inactive?
Yes. Okay, let me unmute.
Okay, can I try and
Okay.
What happened is we registered a prospect.
Right.
They paid the $99
Right.
using their wallet exchange, and Luno confirmed that payment went out.
Right.
But now on the Bitclub network side,
Right.
payment does not show as received, meaning that the member is still inactive, although the payment has gone through.
Okay, so they probably didn't pay enough, and it was short. Something like that, get it to Hannah. Hannah will send it over to me. I'll look it up. I'll tell you how much it was short, which is probably like 50 cents. You know some of these exchanges, again, you don't control the Bitcoin. Let me say it again in front of everybody. When you pay an invoice to Bitclub Network, use blockchain.info wallet. When you use an exchange, they're controlling it, and some of these exchanges, they charge a fee. Like 0.05 Bitcoin.
If you pay an invoice and it's 0.05 too little, it shows as not paid. So that's what I'm saying, like, that could be the problem. So hurry up, get it to Hannah as quick as possible, because that's probably the problem. And then hurry up and get them back. And then that's what it is, exactly. Which wallet did you send it from? That's what I'm saying. Some of these companies, they charge fees. Like they charge 0.05. So our invoices, just so you understand, our invoices, they're looking for a specific amount of Bitcoin. If it's not that much, it just shows as nothing. So the invoice won't go through. No, it's not. Okay, I don't know about Luno. See, I don't know about Luno. I'll have to look at it. See, something like that, just send to, like, I can't start doing customer support right now. So get it to Hannah. Hannah will get it over to you. Okay, get it to Hannah. She get it to me. I'll look at it later. But yeah, most times, generally when Hannah sends stuff to me, I'm like, short, right? I would go short. And I put how much it's short. So, and generally, for some reason in South Africa, these exchanges, they charge 0.05 Bitcoin. And that's showing short on the invoice. Use blockchain.info. Move your money from Luno to blockchain.info. Now, to your blockchain wallet, there's no fee there. So then you just pay the invoice and it goes through. Luno, does Luno charge a fee?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, Luno does not charge a fee. Okay. Okay. Then I don't know why it would be like that for them.
It might be on your side that you pay less. But it's fine, we'll sort it.
Just,
We'll sort it out.
okay, but just give it to her, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, no problem. Yes? Question?
Testing.
Go for it.
Hello? Okay, thank you, Mr. Russ. It's not a question to say. Just wanted to add on the technical part of Luno. Yesterday I also transacted with Luno and everything went well.
Okay, cool.
So by the way, thank you for your wonderful rendition thereof. The other thing is that sometimes we don't look at the technical part of the program. And sometimes other people, I think the issue is that other people are counting $1 according to the way it goes up. Not knowing that in Bitclub network, $1 is fixed. So maybe if he checks, he wants to buy a book, maybe then he will check how much is the dollar at that time and he deposits a less amount of Luno and want to transact in Bitclub. Obviously, it won't correlate.
Yeah, by the way, when you pay invoices, what he's saying is, always make sure you pay the right amount of Bitcoin from the invoice, not the dollar amount. So always the Bitcoin amount. The dollar amount is just to give you a rough idea what it is, but it's 100% always based on Bitcoin. Next question.
Evening.
I can hear you.
Yeah, just on the Shenzhen issue. There is on the website, on the Bitclub website, they give you that address that you copy. Right. There's an amount that they stated there. They will always copy that amount, we paste it on the Luno side.
Yeah.
We did the same thing with Madam Lina. The same issue of being inactive. It was on the 27th. And even today, it still says inactive, and we paid for two slots, for two two members there. So I don't know if you're
All I know is that every time Hannah sends me one that didn't go through, it's always short. I never get them where it's, oh, they paid the right amount. We just didn't make the invoice go through. Like, generally, they work for everybody. Again, invoices that went through this month, $68.5 million, I'm sorry, $69.5 million worth of invoices went through this month. So, it's not like they're not working. If there's something that happened on something, I mean, we'll get it figured out, we'll get it taken care of. I just don't know of anything that's happening widespread. This is literally the first time I've heard things like this. So I don't know if it's something to do here, but we'll figure it out, don't worry. It'll be fine, I promise. It's funny when the biggest problem is, you're not taking my money.
All right, I guess we should finish, right? Yes. Okay.
Really?
Yes. We need to give a break now, it's enough. Even though we want to stay even the whole night, right? Okay, so all the technical issues that you guys were mentioning, past 3 days was different. I mean, we had a lot of issues that were just because of that particular, reason with the delay and everything.
So that's really working now, though.
Yeah, so those that are not sorted, we can always sort it out. You guys know what to do, so it's not a problem. I will always send it to them, send it to your uplines, and they will send it and they will sort it out, okay? All right, so this is the end, and let's just give a, All right, so before you go, I have a last announcement, guys. Okay, everything is normal for us for tomorrow, from Monday. We have the usual presentation, 11 o'clock, Monday to Friday, you all know, right? And Saturday, every morning from 9:30 to 11, always there is training. Don't forget that. And presentation school is starting next Friday. So those of you who want to learn presentation, make sure you register yourself and attend the presentation school, which is on Friday for 1 month. And if you have any prospects in Kenya, Uganda, Burundi, Ethiopia, Dubai, and Egypt, make sure you send all your people to the place where we have an event. I'm sure everything will be updated on the WhatsApp group. So you can always grow your business in those countries. Wherever I'm going to be the whole of July, I'll be out. I'll be working in those countries, so you can always maximize on my visits in those places, okay? Thanks so much, have a good night.